let's just get this out of the way right now. Is this a DCOM?
No.
It's not. And we are the DCOM duo, and we are betraying that for this episode.
And we're not giving you a replacement extra episode or anything, but it would feel very weird to cover High School Musical 1, High School Musical 2, and Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure without also doing High School Musical 3.
Yeah. For a movie franchise that started as a DCOM, that had 2 movies as DCOMs.
That is very intrinsically Disney Channel based.
Yeah, what, we're gonna not talk about the third one? We're not monsters.
This is an uncanon episode. We're still going to talk about it and do everything that we normally
And we're
do.
still gonna put it in. Are we gonna put it in the final ranking?
Probably.
And it still counts as an episode, so.
But just to be clear, by all accounts and measures, this is actually not a Disney Channel original movie. We want to apologize. I know this is going to look bad on us and not inspire the children that look up to us. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Sometimes we make an exception, and by sometimes I mean one time.
This is literally our only planned exception, unless you count like Descendants: Rise of Red, which even then that is more arguably a DCOM than this is.
Oh, it definitely is more DCOM. Yeah. So enjoy this bonus episode that counts towards a real episode, because our bonus episodes are kind of our mini episodes.
And we just did one. Go listen to that instead.
No, this one. Listen to both. Welcome, everybody, to the DCOM Duo podcast.
I'm Benji.
I'm Kelsey.
We're the DCOM Duo
podcast.
And today we're talking about not a DCOM, as we just talked about. Yeah. We're talking about High School Musical 3, Senior Year.
Yeah, it got a little subtitle.
It got a subtitle. That's how you know it's serious.
It's serious senior year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have lots of thoughts about High School Musical 3. Our longest episode of all time, I believe, still is High School Musical 2 right now.
That would make sense. We've gotten close. Like, our Descendants episode is over 3 hours, but I'm pretty sure High School Musical 2 is like 3.5 hours.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll have less to say about this than High School Musical 2.
We definitely do. Most of this movie is, like, music numbers. So.
This movie is entirely filler music numbers.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So I'm just going to come out and say a couple of stuff to guide this podcast, because I feel like I want these opinions out here. Number one, we did rank this in our initial rankings, so we have our opinions codified, and out of every single film that we ranked, again, which is every DCOM and this movie, this was the one that Kelsey and I had the most different opinion on.
And I believe that is still true to this day, having again watched over half of DCOMs.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not this is among the top 5 that we're most distinct on. Yeah. And normally when we rewatch ones that we were taking a look before the episode at ones that we disagree the most on, the ones that we've covered so far, I feel like we've gotten closer. Yeah. And this one, maybe we've inched closer.
We've inched closer. I don't think you're much more positive on it. I think I'm very slightly more negative.
I think that's what it is.
But I've kind of just accepted it for what it is. But it's, you always look at a movie in a new lens when you're taking notes on every single plot aspect of the movie as you're watching it. And oh boy, this plot is pretty nothing. Let me tell you.
This movie, more than anything else, makes me really appreciate High School Musical 2. Yeah. Because there's way more heart in High School Musical 2.
Oh my god, there's so much heart in High School Musical 2. And 1.
Yeah. Well, 1, shines in the heart department. Yeah. 2, the music in High School Musical 2 is just significantly better than 3, in my opinion.
Yeah.
and the pacing is better. I always am caring what's going on in High School Musical 2.
I feel like there's a very direct through line of 2, and as much as we disagree about certain plot points of 2,
I disagree about it in a way that's still fun to watch.
yeah, and the plot for what they were trying to do makes sense, right? We're just mad about how the characters treat each other as friends.
Yeah.
But that's an okay thing to argue about. High School Musical 3 is just like we're going through the motions.
It was something like we talked about in the Right on Track episode of all things, where it's just like sometimes you can have characters act normally or reasonably and it makes for a worse movie.
Yeah.
In similar ways, like if you just have your characters that you know and establish, I would rather have them be doing interesting character motivations, even if it's like not logical.
Like they needed more conflict, honestly. And there was some conflict, but nothing shocking or interesting.
Yeah. And then to get a couple other just quick points of contention on here. We mentioned before this is not a Disney Channel release movie. We should say the reason why for that. A, the real reason is just it was a theater release movie. It's not a Disney Channel.
It did not premiere on Disney Channel.
Yes, it
premiered
uses
in
Disney Channel
theaters.
characters,
Yeah.
but like that's it.
Yeah.
It doesn't say a Disney Channel original movie at the beginning. It has the full ass Disney logo.
Yeah, and it was so jarring watching that. Like, oh, I'm ready to take notes for my Disney Channel original movie. What? The Disney Castle intro? What the heck?
Yeah. And as far as I'm aware, I believe we both watched this in theaters at some
I
point.
definitely.
So it's not like we can say, oh, we watched it first on Disney Channel or
No,
anything.
I saw it in theaters.
So, yeah. The second thing I want to say, just back on like why I feel like this doesn't work. The new characters, they're universally bad.
Oh, not for why it's not a DCOM, just
Yeah.
why you don't like it.
Yeah, sorry. No, the reason it's not a DCOM is really just it was a theater premiere
Yeah.
produced to be a theater premiere.
Yeah.
Like I would even argue it more if it like was clearly produced still to be on Disney Channel, but then they just said we can make money in theaters.
Mhm.
But no, this is from the ground up was designed as a theater film.
Yeah. But so there's new characters that aren't that interesting. I feel like Rocket Man serves a little bit more of a purpose of just like a gag, but overall, like, why are there these new characters that they tried to do something with?
I don't know.
But yeah, anyway, before we really get into the movie, we should do. I mean, we don't have fan mail.
Well, shout out our family. We're recording this the day our Descendants podcast just went up. So
Yeah, we're getting a little ahead of
sorry
things.
if you sent something in and we're hoping to hear it be read. We haven't gotten it yet because that episode just came live. But if you want to say anything to us, you can email us at thedcomduo@gmail.com and we'll get to it next time.
Mhm. Or YouTube comments or TikTok, maybe. I don't know. I fell off TikTok again, but
She'll be
goes
back
in
on at
waves.
some point.
It goes in waves. Sometimes you get a whole bunch of TikToks and then I'm gone for 6 months. It's just, it is what it is.
This is a hobby for us at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
I'm doing this in my free time.
Yeah. All right. And with that, I can get us into the factos
DCOM Duo Factory.
for High School Musical 3 senior year.
Senior year.
This film released, not premiered, released October 17th, 2008 in the United Kingdom. And then October 24th, 2008 in the US.
Why did the UK get it a week early? That's not
They
fair.
probably paid for the premiere rights. That's just how a lot of film stuff work. They don't
Not
actually
fair.
usually. Well, sometimes they get it weeks early. Sometimes they get it. It's also like where everything's fighting against each other, what you release with. When we get in the world of releasing movie schedules, that's a whole different equation.
Mhm.
But yeah. And this is the not a DCOM, it's DCOM.
So it doesn't have a number
Yeah.
of where it is. Do you know where it would be?
I can figure that out really quick. I didn't calculate that number ahead of time,
Mhm.
but
There's a ballpark.
yeah, it would have come out in between Dad Napped and Cheetah Girls One World,
Oh,
which would have been 73 and a half.
okay. So this is number 73 and a half.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Exactly. The cast and crew, we've covered all of them really pretty recently. We did High School Musical 2 not that long
No,
ago.
it wasn't long
So
ago.
I'm going to zoom through these a bit faster than usual.
Oh, just get all the way through. Just
Because
boom,
I
boom,
also
boom.
wrote down literally everyone because I had the facts ready for them.
Yeah.
But like some of these people aren't even big within here. But we'll talk about them
Let's go.
briefly.
Boom, boom, boom.
First off, Kenny Ortega. We just talked about him because he did the whole Descendants
Hell
franchise.
yeah.
He also did Cheetah Girls 2 and the other High School Musical films.
Yep.
Icon, legend, the moment.
Choreographer.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He did the choreography for a lot of stuff. He directed like Newsies, Hocus Pocus. He choreographed like a lot of famous stuff, including the Olympics.
Crazy.
He's a big dude. And he deserves all of his flowers, and we've given him.
And we love him.
Yeah. Playing the role of Troy Bolton is Zac Efron.
Love him.
Yeah. High School Musical was like his big start, but then he did stuff like Hairspray, 17 Again, New Year's Eve, The Lorax, The Neighbors films, Dirty Grandpa, Baywatch, Iron Claw, Disaster Artist, Greatest Showman. There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's Zac Efron.
Zac Efron.
Yeah,
Efron.
I don't think we have to explain who Zac Efron is. Playing the role of Gabriella Montez is Vanessa Hudgens.
Mm-hmm. Vanessa Ann Hudgens.
Yes.
Or just Vanessa.
But just, I believe her screen name is officially Vanessa Hudgens at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Since we last talked, at least this may have happened like right around the time we released our last episode, but she won The Masked Singer.
That's awesome. I remember her being on The Masked Singer. I didn't know she won though. I don't actually watch it, but I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Good for you, girl.
She was pretty successful musically. I mean, but High School Musical trumps that because High School Musical was incredibly successful musically.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sizable roles in things like Tick Tick Boom, Beastly, Bad Boys for Life, Journey 2, the Netflix Princess films, Princess Switch / Night Before Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. She was the host of the red carpet for the Academy Awards 3 out of the last 4 years.
Yeah, she's been doing that a lot now, yeah.
Yeah, but she did not the most recent year because she had just had her kid.
She had a baby.
Yeah.
Her and Ashley Tisdale were like pregnant at the same time. It's cute.
Yeah. I guess we could briefly say all of the cast, I think the established cast, they played their characters, but they didn't give us anything new. Be across the board.
Yeah. Exactly.
No one did exceptionally good or bad.
Yeah.
Except again, maybe the new people.
Mm-hmm.
They were here for a check. The person I think probably did the best is the person that always does the best in this films, which is Ashley Tisdale, who plays, of course, Sharpay Evans.
She is such an icon in these movies.
Like, it's wild because, like, I don't think she's an incredible actress, live action actress, or anything particularly, but she is so perfect for Sharpay.
Yeah.
And it's what makes everything tick.
Yeah. And the only thing that bugs me about this one is, like, her wig. And she's so obviously wearing, like, a wig / extensions in this movie compared to the other movies. And it just doesn't look that good.
Yeah. Her Disney Channel connections are she was Maddie on Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. She's Candace on Phineas and Ferb, including in the new season that released pretty recently.
Yeah, like very recently.
So that's back to being a thing. She originally auditioned to be Gabriella. I just always find that interesting because that's a wild world to think about. Yeah. Other small things that I thought were interesting was she got a small role. Like one of her first acting roles was on Bugs Life, just a very small role. And she apparently executive produced Cloud 9.
Really?
It feels very random to me because there's nothing Ashley Tisdale about that movie, but that's a DCOM she executive produced.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's just a Disney Channel legend.
Yeah.
Playing her brother, Ryan Evans, is Lucas Grabeel. He's in Halloween Town 3 and 4. And then he's in all of the High School Musicals. So, yeah. Pretty big roles for that. Big franchises. So we've talked about him a lot.
Yeah.
He was in the animated show Pinky Malinky as the main role. He had a main role on Switched as Birth. He had notable roles on Family Guy and DreamWorks Dragons.
Oh.
A lot of people on this cast were a part of High School Musical, the series. We'll talk about that briefly later.
He was in season 1 for an episode too, and then he came back for season 4, as a lot of the cast did. Corbin Bleu was on 3 and 4.
For a lot of people, High School Musical is their peak even if they've done other stuff, and like that's not an embarrassing peak.
Yeah,
Other
no.
other DCOMs when like I don't find other stuff,
No,
that's fine. But like this is a huge
when
franchise.
your decom breaks out into a theatrical release, can you be that embarrassed
No.
about it? Like, it's
And like I'm gonna
crazy.
talk about it. This movie made bank.
I bet it did.
Like this is a very, very financially successful movie.
Hell yeah, it is. I saw it as a kid in theaters, as did like everyone our age. So,
Playing the role of Chad Danforth is Corbin Blue.
yay.
Since we last talked about him, he's apparently Nick Carraway on the West End in The Great Gatsby.
Oh, fun. I knew he did Broadway, so
So yeah, that was interesting. We've talked about him before in Jump In, of course, the other High School Musical series. He was a child actor in Catch That Kid. He's done a lot of theater roles as well. That's really kind of where he's transitioned to, which to me makes a lot of sense for him.
yeah.
He's a good dancer, good singer, like plays an interesting parts with all of that. Uh, he's also one of the most notable people in the world if Wikipedia translations are to be trusted. Like there was a study at one point, I think it was like 2014, on trying to figure out who the most famous person in the world is, and the way they decided to measure it was how many translations does their Wikipedia page have into other languages?
Mhm.
And Corbin Blue has like over 200,
Why?
which at the point of the study was like the third most in history.
That's insane.
But yeah, kind of wild. Shout out Corbin Blue. It's really just one person doing it.
Yeah.
Playing the role of Taylor McKessie is Monique Coleman. She's really not done that much outside of High School Musical.
Mhm.
She's done episodes of popular shows, things like Gilmore Girls, Malcolm in the Middle, Bones. Uh, in 2021, she was in the like Hallmark film A Christmas Dance Reunion with Corbin Blue.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
They were back
Not like
together.
a big, big deal, but people were like, "Oh my god,
It made
look."
waves online.
Yeah.
And that was the entire basically premise was let's get these two back together.
Yeah.
So that's their send off.
Mhm.
Playing the seventh person of the crew that I'm always mad doesn't get to be in all the promos and stuff
Yeah, she doesn't
and
get
the
to
big
be
poster moments,
she doesn't get to be in the
even
main
though she
6.
are I think is more important to the franchise than Taylor.
A
Like
little bit.
I think so.
Like, if yeah, it just sucks because like, if you throw her in, then the number is odd, and, like, you would need kind of another one to balance it.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you gonna do?
So playing the role of Kelsey Nielsen is Alyssa Rulin. We've talked about her several times actually. I think this is the last time
This is the last
we'll talk
time.
about her.
One last
She was
time.
in Hounded briefly. She was in Poof Point. She was in Halloween Town High. She's in all of the except Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. The only people really in this are the Evans family.
Yeah, yeah, so she's
Yeah,
in High
it's
School
a real
Musical.
it's a spin-off in full.
High School Musical 1, 2,
Yeah.
and 3, which is in the
And
decomp, but still.
yeah, Alyssa Rulin really hasn't done very much else other than those decoms. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping she still makes good royalties from all this. I appreciate her work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, now for a couple the new people. Just figured I'd mention them in here now.
Yeah, with the kids.
There's three new kids. Honestly, I only had to write about two of them because one of them is really small, but I
Yeah.
just wrote them all. Playing the role of Jimmy Rocket Man Zara is Matt Prokop.
Boo.
Yeah, we already talked about him in Geek Charming.
Yeah.
Uh, I feel like he's the main role in Geek Charming or the secondary
He's
lead.
the lead.
Yeah.
He's the lead, I would
So
say. Well, yeah, I guess she is
we
too.
talk about it more in there.
If you wanna know why we don't like him, listen to Geek Charming, I guess, but long story short, he dated Sarah Hyland and was a real dick about it
Yeah.
and has, like, a criminal record.
And basically, since that moment, hasn't really done anything in media. Although in 2024, he got another arrest for aggravated assault against his girlfriend. So
Not Sarah Hyland anymore, it's a
yeah,
different girlfriend, but yeah. Unfortunate, we don't like him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think he's a good actor. But for this part, I'll be like, I don't know if any of these new characters are written well,
Yeah,
anyways.
this part doesn't bother me nearly as much as Geek Charming because, like, he's supposed to be a
A
little
loser.
idiot, yeah. He's supposed to be cringy in this, And like it's I don't know.
I just don't feel
It's
like
the
these
writing.
new characters mesh well with the cast.
No, I don't know why they needed to be here at
I
all.
think they were trying to set up a potential continuation story with them, and then it
Please.
just didn't develop.
Yeah, that was never gonna work.
Playing the role of Tiara
Tiara go.
Tiara Gold is Gemma Mackenzie Brown, who only has 5 total IMDb credits other than this. Like, this is basically her only role.
Yeah. She wasn't anything that special.
No,
She did her role fine.
I just don't think it's a good role.
Yeah, I don't it was really unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, again, I think you could have done this entire movie without the new kids,
Yeah.
and it would have worked out completely fine. You could have given Jason the final shot, and literally nothing
Jason,
that happens with Tiara is relevant.
literally.
So, yeah. Playing the role of Donnie Dion, that's just the other new basketball kid.
He's
He's just
barely
there
there. He's
the whole
like
time. It says like 5 lines.
yeah, he follows Rocket Man around.
He's Justin Martin. He had small credits in things like Legacy, Fight, and The Soloist, but not much. All right, back to the adults. Playing the
Yeah.
role of Jack Bolton, Coach Bolton, is Bart Johnson,
Mhm.
who really hasn't done that much outside of High School Musical.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What the heck are those two doing in a tree?
yeah, he's done some TV work, but like again, it's not embarrassing to peak with High School Musical.
Mhm.
It's not. Playing the role of Miss Darbus is Allison Reed, who's like a Tony Award nominee for her role in Cabaret. So
Heck yeah.
that's there. She's kind of like a little bit of a theater legend in that way.
Yeah.
Some other random TV credits. She was in Chorus Line.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through this quick.
It's just like and some other credits, chorus line.
Playing the Evans parents. Honestly, I shouldn't have even written them down.
They're in one
They're in
scene.
one
You want to
scene.
skip them?
I'll just say it's Robert Curtis Brown. We'd already talked about him in the sequel to High School Musical 2. And playing Darby Evans, the mom, is Jessica Tust. We talked about her as well in High School Musical 2. If you really care about them, go to that.
Yeah.
Playing the role of Zeke Baylor.
He bakes.
Yeah, and he's like sadly barely in this film. I feel like he was the biggest side character in High School Musical.
I know. They instead they had dumb new freshmen. They could have had more Zeke.
Yeah. It's Chris Warren. He was a main cast member of Tyler Perry's show Sisters.
Hmm.
He had a recurring role in The Fosters.
Mm.
Otherwise, not a ton. He was in the Squeakquel.
Oh
It's
heck
always fun. You
yeah!
gotta mention the Squeakquel.
Is that the one Bridget Mendler is?
Yes.
Nice.
Playing the role of Jason Cross is Ryan Sanborn. Weirdly, a bigger role for him in this one.
Yeah, they had a whole plot where he's like, I might not graduate," but then he
I
does.
believe this was his last acting project because he really just like did High School Musical, and then he like became a pro hockey player in Utah. So
I think in the High School Musical 2, he had like one line. Oh wait, no, he also cared about playing basketball after work. Wasn't that Jason?
I think so.
He had like 2 lines in High School Musical 2, and he has like a few lines in this one.
Yeah. Playing the role of Martha Cox is Casey Stroh. She really hasn't done much at all outside of High School Musical.
She loves milking High School Musical for all it's worth.
If I was in a role as big as she was, which is not that big, don't get me wrong,
No,
but I would milk it for all it's worth.
but she was she loves to pop and lock and jam and break, and then she became like kind of part of the main friend group, and she was the dancer, and she became a cheerleader in this one, which is fun. Also fun for like plus size representation.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
She's a good dancer.
No, she
Is
is.
that even legal?
Is that even legal?
Is pop lock jamming and breaking even legal?
I do not know. So tell us at home. Would we get arrested for popping and locking and jamming
And breaking.
and breaking? A pop and lock and break and jam?
No, bad is not all right.
Then finally, playing the role of Chad's dad, Harley Danforth,
We have to call him out.
is David Revere's, who is Corbin Blue's actual dad.
Yeah, which is crazy. So he plays his dad in Jump In also. I feel like
It's a very big role in Jump In. This one's
Yeah.
such like a
very minor, but like I feel like he looks so different in this role than Jump In. When did Jump In come out?
2007, I believe, like the year before.
Really? So different to me.
Maybe
in this.
2006. It's like not. It's Jumpin' came out between High School Musical and High School Musical 3. I don't know where it is in
Oh,
relation
so there's
to.
also like High School Musical 2 in there. So maybe sometime, but like I don't know. I'm like, that's him? Wow. He looks different. He probably had a lot more makeup and stuff done
Yeah.
for a jump in because he was just a bigger role in that.
Yeah. We can actually, that's a good transition. We could talk more about David Revere's, but honestly, just listen to our jump in. He's an actual role in that one.
Yeah.
We're going to do the fun facts now.
Okay.
I said this film made a lot of money. I'm not lying about that. It made 252.9 million on the global box office. The amount, like comparing that to the budget, I found conflicting reports on the budget. A couple said either 13 million or 11 million,
Mhm.
but one did say 30 million.
Either way,
Irregardless, it's a huge financial win for Disney.
huge profit.
That is very successful financially.
Yeah.
So there we go. Like,
They knew kids would bring their parents out for the third and final High School Musical. Like, yeah.
yeah. And this is where we'll talk about briefly. This is a theater movie and has by far, like, I can't say this for a fact because a lot of budgets aren't posted, but this is the biggest budget, is at least for the time, a Disney Channel original movie in quotes ever had.
Yeah.
You feel it, and it feels wrong.
It feels like, oh, what are these characters doing in a higher definition?
I never could buy into the lighting in this film.
Uh,
I think what it is we're so established on these sets and props and everything and character designs and costuming on a much simpler lighting scale. And then they have a much more dynamic lighting setup for this movie because they had the budget to do so. And it makes everything look fake.
uh-huh.
Like maybe this is intentional because I could argue myself it is, but I don't like it if it is intentional. But maybe it is. It feels like we're watching a theater show, you know, with how the lighting
I
is.
think that's kind of what they're going
That's what
for.
I'm saying.
Because at the end,
Yes.
yeah,
It feels like characters at all times are kind of in spotlights.
yeah, yeah. I think that might be a little bit intentional.
It might be intentional, but if it is, I don't really like it. It doesn't fit with the vibe. It calls out too much of these characters. High School Musical, like, as a franchise for me, really works best when it's breathing, when it's like everything, all these pieces interacting for each other, and like how generically applicable it is while having fun moments and kooky characters.
hmm
This feels like it took itself too seriously when it actually doesn't take itself seriously. This has the same level of seriousness that the rest of the films do, I think.
Mm,
You disagree?
I don't know. I feel like they might take themselves a little bit more seriously in this one.
Yeah. It's not less serious, but I think it's not a crazy amount more serious
Yeah,
in
that's
actuality.
fine. Yeah.
Because, like, I still think at points they're like, yeah, this is still just the silly High School Musical filled.
hmm
Yeah.
I feel like they really just wanted to step up with the budget that they had, and in turn, it had a little less heart and a little less of a cohesive plot.
It didn't feel like the little project that could. It felt like something made to make money.
And it did make
And,
money.
like, a lot of the art in with this ways are stuff to make money.
hmm
But the other High School Musical stuff is just, it feels more organic.
Yeah, and it felt like they were having such a blast
And we'll
in the
talk
first
about
2, and not
this.
that they weren't having fun in the 3rd one, but didn't feel the same.
It felt like they were running through the motions. And again, it felt like the plot doesn't make sense. The fact that there are 15, yes, 15 songs in this is way too many.
There's not. There's 15.
I just looked, if you take a look on the High School Musical 3 Wikipedia page and scroll through musical numbers, one of them is a credit track. But
Okay, that doesn't count.
But then that's 15, and that's counting all of the senior year spring musical as like one performance,
5,
even though they're really all reprises.
okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would say 11 songs. I don't count We're All in This Together reprise. But okay, so there's 11 like original songs, and then they reprise them multiple times.
Yeah, I'm counting the separate musical performances.
Yeah. So that's a lot. That's a lot. For a 2-hour movie, and you have like 15 instances of people singing, that's a lot. How did our parents tolerate this? My grandma took me. She's like, I have the girls for the weekend. I'll take them to a movie, not knowing what she's getting herself into. My mom, I don't know. I don't know if my mom would have sat through that.
Crucially, one thing that Kelsey and I discuss, and this is another thing that, like, we have different opinions on this. This film is very loosely plotline follow through, and instead an excuse to get basically 14 music videos.
Yeah, this is what I've decided on the plot. Jumping ahead a little bit to my thoughts. I'm less thinking about this as a cohesive movie and more as a series of music videos with characters I like and
It's like a
performers I
concept
like.
album for
Yeah, it's
you.
like a concept album with a very loose plot in the middle. And I can live with that. And we'll talk more about the plot when we get there, but we're still in fun facts right now.
Yeah. I think that covers a lot of what we were trying to say, though, about this movie feels off. I'll continue talking about that. And it's because it's not a DCOM and we're talking about it amongst other DCOMs.
Hmm.
But even among, like, theater film, like, actual budget releases, to me, it still would feel a little awkward because it's so heavily leaning on stuff that is of a lower budget level.
Yeah.
But whatever. I've probably been only talking hate about this movie. I don't really hate this movie.
Yeah, you hater.
I'm a hater on this movie there's no active despise that I have towards this movie. It's just like, I don't think, I think it just kind of is a little bit of a flop. That's really what it is. I'm not even really disappointed by it. It's honestly what it was going to be.
People say this is their favorite
And
one.
that's crazy to me. Like, what about this movie works for you
It's
that
kind of,
doesn't?
yeah, it's kind of crazy to me too. It
All right.
After watching it again, I'm definitely like, this is the worst one to me.
Fun facts. Back to those. This filmed in Utah once again, where all the other films
Because that's where the
were.
school is, yeah.
Yeah. The state gave a $2 million tax break to the production. That's the largest the state of Utah, at least at the time of this, had ever given to like a production company.
They like, please film again here.
They would it produces a lot of jobs and they knew they were gonna have a huge budget from it
Yeah.
all. So yeah. At the time, it was the biggest opening day a musical ever had
Wow.
in cinemas. It was since passed by Les Miserables.
Oh wow.
It's probably passed. Les Miserables has probably been passed since. I have not kept track of these. I just saw what it passed. At the time, it was the biggest opening weekend for a musical ever. It was afterwards beat by Pitch Perfect 2.
Mm-hmm. I was saw it in theaters.
2 weeks after the premiere, a sing-along version was in select theaters,
Of course.
so you could go sing with the movie.
That happens even now.
The first time it ever actually premiered on Disney Channel was April 4th, 2010, so a year and a half later.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it led into the series premiere of Good Luck Charlie.
So they're like,
That was the, hey,
competition.
we're gonna promote this. And it's very interesting again to see a whole other can of worms that I'd love to dig into someday. It's just the lead-ins to the series premieres of these famous stuff,
Yeah.
these famous shows.
Yeah.
High School Musical 2 completely made Phineas and Ferb what it is.
Oh my God, yeah.
Undeniably.
And what's crazy,
People wouldn't have given that show a chance if it wasn't right
and
there.
it's so crazy because Phineas and Ferb is genuinely like such a great show. And thank God it came out after High School Musical 2. You know?
And like, I would love to just do a deep dive into that someday because I feel like that's fascinating to see what projects Disney allowed to shine and what like TV shows are like, okay, we'll let it premiere, but we don't have that much faith in this, so we're not going to give you like a hype movie or
Yeah.
something to go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Before the summer before the film premiered, the reality show High School Musical, Hit in the Picture, was on ABC.
I never heard about this.
Yeah, neither did most people because apparently it was a huge flop and like TV producers thought it was going to be a huge success.
Yeah.
Going in like, oh, everyone loves the High School Musical brand and reality like talent show competition shows are huge right now. Not talent's big and everything. Nope, no one cared.
That's crazy.
The winner of the show was Stan Carrizosa, and he he sang the credits song in this film.
Yeah, and he's like right at the end of the credits, they actually show him like in a little music video, like, but in a small little
Yeah,
box.
I
Yeah,
believe the other 11 finalists also appear in that little box.
cool.
Yeah.
That's fun. Yeah, it's just crazy that it was a flop because however many years later, the Glee project was not a flop.
I mean, maybe the fact that it's an ABC show, but also just it's wild to think that it's a flop because the High School Musical fans exist.
Yeah,
The movie was a huge
but
success.
maybe it's just like the High School Musical fans were like,
Wanting High School
well,
Musical.
they were also like under the age of 10. Or at least
And
I was, you know, where it's like, am I gonna watch this reality TV show? Not really.
now we're going to talk about stuff briefly that's not perfectly related to the movie. Actually, I should mention this first. I forgot to put it in my facts, but I realized I probably should. This film's soundtrack honestly didn't do that well,
On Billboard.
or mainly because I don't believe released with the movie. I might be wrong about. No, it did release with the movie. It released with the movie, but the fact that not everyone saw it at the same time didn't mean that it did as well as the other soundtracks did, which both went to number one, I believe,
Yeah.
and had multiple successful hits on it. This went to number two, and I don't believe a single charted.
Yeah. I will say, fun fact about Kelsey, first CD I ever owned, High School 3. And it's because it was
High
a
School Musical 3 senior year.
senior year. And it was a Christmas gift. And so CDs were kind of pretty dead at that point. But I did receive High School Musical 3 senior year on CD. And in my kitchen, we had a little like radio that stuck to the bottom of the cabinet that also was a CD player. And so when mom was like, do the dishes, I would go do the dishes and play my High School Musical 3 CD while I did the dishes. So, really cool fact, Kelsey. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. High School Musical 4 was announced to be in development,
Whoa, really?
like with casting calls and stuff happening back in 2016,
That's
which is
8 years later.
8 years later, notably.
Wow.
We know some stuff about it, like they had casting calls with specific character orientations, including like the fact that uh the lead role in quotes, like we don't actually know who the leads or anything would have been, but this
Mhm.
seems like would have been Sharpay and Ryan's cousin, who
Okay.
was a jock playing
Whoa.
like the Troy role.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was going to be directed by Jeffrey Hornaday, who directed Teen Beach Movie.
So he knows how to do a musical.
Yeah. And like the original writer for the film was going to be on it as well.
Okay.
But no one no one in the original cast was officially attached,
Well,
and it never really got deeper into development. Potentially some of that transition into High School Musical, the musical, the series.
right. They in season 4, the plot was that they were making High School Musical 4, but a lot of the main cast did come back, and they were filming at the high school because the premise of High School Musical, the musical series, is that there are kids going to the actual school that High School Musical filmed at, and the characters in this show are aware that High School Musical is a movie series and that it happened, but and now they're like putting on their own musical at the school that it was filmed at. It's stupid. Don't watch it. But in the fourth one, they're like, we're gonna film High School Musical 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh I think some from what I was like able to find, some remnants of like the original High School Musical 4 script went into the script for like season 1 of High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Okay, so it would have sucked.
I mean, potentially. You love to hate on High School Musical, the musical series, but you watched it all.
I watched every single episode like when it came out. That's like the purest example I have of a show that I hate watched. I'm frenemies with High School Musical, the musical, the series.
Gotcha. Yeah, but we don't really need to talk that much about High School Musical, the musical, the series. That's the next High School Musical real piece of media that came out after this, but like that's in quotations.
Yeah.
Uh
Well, no, Sharpays.
oh yeah, Sharpays.
That
Duh.
doesn't
Duh,
mean
duh, duh,
anything.
duh. But even Sharpays isn't really a High School Musical
No,
project.
it's we'll talk about
We'll
that
talk about that with
later.
Sharpays. Uh, all of the leads of the movie have matching gold rings with redstone, presumably a cast ring.
Class ring.
Class ring, yeah. But actually a cast ring. Yeah. Uh, Lucas Gabriel, uh, apparently pushed hard for Ryan to come out as gay in the film. Kenny Ortega has essentially stated as much as he can with Disney watching over him when he was doing interviews with this that Ryan is gay.
Yeah.
But Disney shot the whole thing down. They're like, this movie's going to make bank. We don't want that controversy.
Yeah, stupid Disney.
Yeah. Kenny Ortega has stated officially he believes Ryan would have come out in college.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, but
Good for you,
they
Ryan.
push Ryan and Kelsey together.
Right. People were saying that Kelsey was a lesbian.
Ryan is very clearly coded as gay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Kelsey is as clearly lesbian, but like it's totally viable.
Yeah.
That's always been my opinion on that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, would have been nice if they could have done that, but like, eh, they missed the sweet spot for that.
Mm-hmm.
The songs "I Want It All," "Can I Have This Dance," "A Night to Remember," and "Scream" were all shortlisted for Best Original Song of the Oscars, but none of them were nominated.
That's crazy that it was even remotely possible.
There were apparently only like 49 songs qualified, and like half of High School Musicals did.
Wow. That's crazy.
I believe the winner that year was Jai Ho from Slumdog Millionaire.
Okay.
Uh, that's off the top of my head from when I was researching it before, but yeah, none of them got nominated, but there were only 3 nominees that year. I
Mm-hmm.
do wonder if they'd like expanded to 5 if they could have, or if let's say they had music on quality with High School Musical 2
Mm-hmm.
or High School Musical 1. Breaking Free could have been a Best Picture, or not Best Picture, Best Original Song winner. I
Yeah.
fully believe that.
Yeah.
That song's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. During the Oscars, they actually did perform the some of High School Musical 3 in that year's Oscars, so they did a little tribute
Really?
to movie musicals. What was written down is they performed Last Chance,
That's not.
which is not a song.
Is that Now or Never? This is the last chance to get it right. This is the last chance to make it all that. I'm assuming that's what
Yeah.
that is.
And I'm just guessing from wherever it's there. It's like they probably played just a tiny little clip of it,
Mm-hmm.
just honoring movie musicals. So that's kind of interesting. At one point in development, this was going to be a Halloween movie. It was going to be
Really?
Haunted High School Musical. I assume that was
Ugh,
very early in development.
that's so dumb. Like, not theatrically released?
That's what I'm like,
There's no
no
way.
way.
That's such a decom. Like,
Yeah. The role of Tiara Gold was offered to Selena Gomez, but she turned it down.
little baby Selena.
I
That's
mean,
right
Wizards
around when.
probably was already out at that
You
point,
think so?
right? I
If
don't
not,
remember what
like,
time,
starting. I can look that up.
but they knew she was going to be a star, and she said, "No, this role is bad."
Yeah, like, actually pass. Wizards of Waverly Place started in 2007. So she's like, I'm good.
Do you think they would have made her do a British accent?
No. Personally, I don't think so, but who knows?
Yeah. Uh, yeah. And the East High School in Salt Lake City, that where this all is filmed, they kept Sharpay's double pink locker.
It's still there.
It's still there. One
That's
kid
so
gets picked to use it each year.
They get picked. They
Yeah.
have to like submit their name or something.
Yeah, I think like the teachers and staff like collect his kid to receive it.
Oh, that would be so cool.
It would be very cool.
Love that. And you were outside of the school once.
Yeah.
I'm jealous I wasn't there. I wish I could have been there.
All right. That's what I have for the fun facts.
Jeez,
Honestly,
that was so long.
I could have had more. I know that was 2 in a row with a ton of fun facts, but I figure this is the last we're really talking about High School Musical. Again, Sharpace
Yeah.
is really its own thing.
Yeah.
That's vaguely High School Musical adjacent.
Mhm.
But yeah, like I wanted to make sure everything that we want to talk about High School Musical 3 is there. There's more stuff that I could have said that I didn't say, but like this is a big franchise that meant to a lot of people. And then this was a theater release, and there's a lot of stuff, different aspects with all
Yeah.
of that. So, yeah. You want to hear the Disney Plus description?
Yes.
It's almost graduation day for high school seniors Troy, Gabriella, Sharpay, Shad, Ryan, and Taylor.
What about Kelsey?
No one cares about Kelsey. And the thought of heading off in separate directions has these Wildcats thinking they need to do something memorable. Partnering with the rest of the Wildcats, they stage a spring musical reflecting their hopes and fears about the future
Oh, cute.
and their unforgettable experiences growing up together. But with graduation approaching and college plans in question, what will become of the dreams, romances, and friendships of East High seniors, Wildcats?
The amount of times I say Wildcats in this description. Also, this description sucks.
Also, Wildcats in the movie, they say it a lot as well, I feel like.
Wildcats.
It's funny because they say that like it's such a trademark, which I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here, and I know that. I'm going to preface that. One, like, Wildcats is extremely generic. It's like one of the most common things. And two, like, some of the appeal of High School Musical, at least to me, and as a franchise, is how generally applicable it is, easy to put yourself into. The names of the cities are just East High and West High.
Yeah.
The Wildcats is a generic term and all of this stuff. So it's
Mhm.
weird that they'll continuously call it out and being like, no, this is us. This is not, you can't imagine yourself as friends with Croy and Chad.
The Wildcats.
This is the Wildcats. You're not a part of them.
Where's Kelsey?
Where's Kelsey? Again,
Where's
Kelsey gets done
Jason?
dirty.
Yeah, for real.
She is way more relevant to the franchise as a whole.
She writes all the music canonically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, how do you write the plot of this movie? There's
That's
no
the
plot.
problem as well. The plot they actually write here is pretty accurate, just definitely talking it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because what actually happens in this film is Gabriella leaves for college. Troy chooses his college. They put on a musical, kind of.
Kind of.
That's it.
That's it. And then they graduate.
Yeah.
And we all say goodbye.
They go to prom.
Oh yeah, they got a prom. Well, not really.
Not really. They
didn't
talk about
really do
prom a
that.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And Troy and Gabriella sing a duet, and another one, 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 and another one.
yeah, they should have put that in the description.
People would click onto that for sure.
Yeah. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Shall we jump into the movie?
Shoot, I didn't have one prepared. We should Ring of Endless Light into this movie.
Oh, Ring of Endless Light.
We should Ring of Endless Light into this movie.
Hell yeah. All right. We open up full Disney intro, as we mentioned. Crazy. Then we get big bulbs that spell High School Musical 3, Senior Year. And then they explode, and we see sweaty Troy Bolton playing a basketball game. Yeah, very heavy breathing, heartbeats. Let me tell you something. When this movie was coming out, and they showed the trailer, and I was like,
Sexual Awakening.
no, that's not where I'm going at all, Benji. What the heck? I do love Zac Efron. They would like show this in the trailer of like, oh, they're playing basketball, blah blah blah. In my little 8-year-old brain, I'm like, oh, that's gonna be like the climax. I've seen High School Musical, right? And then I get into the theater, and it's the opening number. It's the opening scene. They're already in the basketball game. They're already playing it. I was like, oh, I was not expecting that. So that's just something that stuck with me. Like, I did not expect that scene to be first.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But it is. The amount of basketball in this film that is talked about versus actually getting to watch.
Yeah.
The ratio's different.
Yeah. Isn't it just a little bit jarring that we're just in the middle of a game?
That's where we start.
Yeah.
That's where like the first movie basically ended.
Yeah, exactly. It's just crazy. This movie, I feel like we were just plucked and just put right into it in the middle. And we just kind of get middle.
Also, what changed on the timing of everything that made it so you don't start work at all on the spring musicale until...
No, that's accurate. Because they had the final game and that was a callback.
Yeah, but they haven't even started preparing the musical.
They haven't
during
done
the final game.
auditions yet, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just like a little bit off of timing.
No, it works enough. It works enough.
Especially isn't basketball a winter sport?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's fine. Anyway, so yeah, sweaty basketball game time. They're down by 19. The Wildcats are down by 19, and there's just seconds left at the half. They get the ball, turnover. Now they're 21 points down. Halftime.
No way to come back from that.
It's horrible, right? I mean, they have a whole half. But yeah. Also, once again, they are playing the West High Knights. I
The
think
only other school that exists.
only other school that exists ever. And they're like 16 minutes left in the game. All right, let's go to the locker room. Everyone's upsetty spaghetti right now.
Aren't they the East High Knights? Because it's the West
No,
High Wildcats?
They are from East High. They are the East High Wildcats. You fake fan.
No, because I thought the actual school is called East High.
The school is that the
The
Wildcats
filming
attend
happened.
to is East High, and they play the
Why is
West
my
High
brain?
Knights.
Okay, here's what I'm stuck with right now. The East High School is the actual high school that exists in Salt Lake City, and I always thought it was named the opposite of what
No,
was in the
the
franchise.
movie in High School Musical, they attend East High.
Crazy.
West High Knights. It's part of the song.
No, I just mentally had that wrong. I thought they renamed it, and I thought that was funny.
Nope.
Nope, never mind.
So Troy is wrapping up his fingies with some tape, and Coach comes in and he's giving them a pep talk. And he's like, there's 16 minutes left, guys. 16 minutes left for the seniors. You only get 16 minutes left to wear a Wildcats uniform and be a team.
He's like, just go out there and have fun.
Yeah. So captains, your turn to speak.
And you see Troy and Chad stand up, and they're
the
very
captains.
They give off the aura of like, I don't want to talk. We're losing by 21.
Well,
fucking West High.
They got to be inspirational right now, right? So they get up in front of their teammates, and Troy says, "All right, hey guys, you heard Coach.
You're giving more energy than he did.
All right, hey guys, you heard Coach."
He does not have the leadership mentality, despite having his whole friend group under his thumb.
Yeah, he says it's now or never. Right? Because that's what the song they're about to sing. And he's like, all right, Chad, say the thing. And then Chad says, what team? Wildcats.
Wildcats.
What team?
Wildcats. That's all Chad says.
What team? Yeah, that's all he needs to do. He says, Troy, you do the hard work, and I will say what team.
Also, the amount of time that they're in the locker room for halftime is like 1 minute. Halftime lasts longer than that.
Well, I think they were moping around for like 10 minutes. How long is halftime? All right. Wildcats, get your head in the game. Music starts. 16 minutes left. Gotta get it done. 16 more minutes. Get ready. Game on.
There's a lot of music in this film. And for my money, this is the second best song.
It's pretty great. I kind of convinced you that the song is pretty great.
It's great because A, there's actual like distinctness to it, which is good. B, it's cringe in a fun way. Some other stuff isn't.
I think it's so fun, like the overlapping of all of the different like elements of it. So you have Coach going like, "Come on, boys!" Like throughout the song, you have the cheerleaders going. Well, they have the West Side cheerleaders too.
Yeah.
Side Nights, hey, yeah, we're doing it right. Okay, WILD Wildcats. Defense, like they have so many little call outs that's so fun that I enjoy this number, and they're like singing it while they're playing.
I wish the rest of the film would keep this energy, because this is probably, even compared to like what I think the best song is, I don't think I need to hide it too much. I think Scream's the best song.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's by far the best song.
Yeah.
This is probably a better energy they could have captured for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Where it feels like a more dramatic, cinematic, but still like spooky, chaos-filled, funny, where they have all these different elements working together, these characters, and it feels larger than life in a comical way.
Yeah.
While again, still not feeling inauthentic enough to like be a cause.
I love when he's strutting down the court and he goes, "The way we play tonight is what we leave behind." Like it's so dramatic because the game is actively happening right now.
Yeah.
And then, oh my god, Roy gets hurt. He falls down, and everyone's like, "Whoa!"
Pops up, and he's totally fine.
No, he like has to be helped up, and he's like out of it. And everybody, the whole crowd, puts their like sheet of paper. I don't know what it's called. like that everyone's holding up a red thing, but it also there's some patterns, it's like wildcats, that makes it look the crowd like a whole banner. Is there a name for it?
Yeah, I'm Googling that right now because I
That's when
don't.
everybody holds up a sheet of paper that and then makes one big picture. That's what it is.
TIFO. That's what it is. TIFO.
It's a tifo, and so, like, they hold up the tifo, I don't know, I guess this is the time they practice this, okay? And, Roy's out of it, and everything's fuzzy, and his dad's going, "Come on, Troy! Come on, Troy!" And all of a sudden, Gabriella
Pops out in
appears.
a white dress.
She's in a white dress, and she is the only one standing, everybody else is sitting with the ring. I have to sing it at a low volume so the microphone here. Troy!
Right now I can hardly breathe.
Oh, you can do it, just know that I believe.
And that's what I really need.
Then come on, make me strong.
Strong,
It's
it's
time
time
to
to.
turn it up. Game on. WILD. Wildcats. Number one. And it's awesome. Like, everyone said, shut up. Gabriella has to help Troy.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Also, Gabriella's hair is longer now, and we all know in the summer she cut it to a bob, cute little curly bob. But she's like, back in school, I need to get extensions. Okay,
Mhm.
it's long again. It's too long, I think, for how much time has passed.
Maybe
But
she just grows like a demon.
maybe. Okay. Um, okay, so now, it's like there's under a minute left, and they, like, time out, and Troy's like, "Oh, I'm triple covered, blah, blah, blah. Let's put in Rocket Man." And his dad's like, "Are you crazy?" And
And
he's
they
like,
look at
"Trust
the
me."
bench and there's just two kids sitting there. They're not a part of the huddle,
No, Rocket
but
Man is a
losers.
freshman, loser, but he's like, "Just put him in." And he's like, "Alright." And then in the huddle, they go, "This is the last time to get it right, blah, 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 now or never." And so they play the last few seconds, and Troy has the ball, and he, like, as he's flying through the air, he passes it to Rocket
Yeah,
Man.
he's being triple teamed in the air. And he
Yeah,
passes Rockman, who holds the ball for like a solid
yeah,
second.
and
Like,
everybody gaps. Everybody goes, "Oh!"
and like he is wide open, but also he needs to shoot it faster than a second. Because there's someone else right there who can just turn around and block him.
Mhm.
But it's a really easy shot and he makes it. And they win.
And yeah, and they won. Yay, Eastside wins. And Ryan was in the Wildcat mascot the whole time.
Crazy.
And Troy is just held up with the trophy because he's the
Troy,
man.
Troy, Troy, and Chad,
He's
Chad,
not
Chad.
he's not just a guy.
He's Troy Bolton.
He's basketball guy. Yeah. Okay. So now, transition to like a huge fucking party that's happening at Troy's house, and Troy and Chad have to push Troy's truck that's broken down up to his house, and Chad's mad about it, and he's like, "I'm working on fixing my truck," which I guess is kind of plot relevant, the fake plot that they pretend to have. Um, Kelsey's DJing, and she's playing Alien Ages like, "Whoa." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Well, the Kelsey
definitely a
line."
Disney cross promotion right there.
Whoa, whoa. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then Troy goes around and mingles, and it's kind of odd that he's, like, not wearing any Wildcat gear when literally everybody else
Everyone else
is,
is.
but whatever.
But they were all attending the game. He was at the game.
And he's like,
He
"I'm
was
gonna
like,
change into my plaid shirt."
yeah, I gotta look fancy. Gabriella's gonna be here.
Oh. And then, Troy and Chad and their dads talk with, like, the Red Hawk guy, remember the college? This was High School Musical too, very
High School
relevant.
Yeah. High School Musical 2 is actually shockingly irrelevant to the film, except for specifically like the Troy plus University of Albuquerque connection. Except it's just assumed that he's in University of Albuquerque. I mean, he had a banger of a senior year, so they're like, yeah, we want him on the team.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely gonna give him a basketball scholarship for sure.
Side note, I'll probably talk about this more when we actually talk about where Troy does go to college or everything. But University of Albuquerque is a fake school. It doesn't exist.
Mhm.
That's fine. You're allowed to have fictional schools, especially when it makes sense logically in the situation.
Yeah.
I guess like technically the school exists, but it's defunct. Um, the argument is probably that it's a low D1 school.
Yeah.
That seems pretty accurate to me.
Big enough that, they care a lot about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big enough, but like it's also not like an elite program.
Yeah.
But like that sounds accurate to me.
Cool. So then as the party continues, Troy and Gabriella are in his treehouse, and he says that she's the second girl that's ever been up there, and the first was his mom. Ha 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 ha. And they talk about college and stuff. And Troy's like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to U of A to play ball." And Gabriella is like already accepted into Stanford.
Man, this movie's done when we told you those are like the only things that happen.
Yeah, but here's the issue: Stanford is 10,000, not 10,000. Stanford is 1,053 miles away. The rest of the school year is just happening too fast. I wish it would stop or slow down. And then Troy pulls out his kazoo.
This one. Okay.
Do you disagree?
I mean, there were 14 choices. So
Oh.
I was just kind of surprised it's this one, but that's fine.
And what's crazy is Gabriella also has a kazoo.
That made me tear up a little bit.
Can you imagine?
You know what?
What
I might
would
have to rank this movie higher. I didn't remember how beautiful that was.
right here, right
Wait, I thought they were
now?
kazooing. Are you adding your own lyrics?
Yeah, this is what I think they would say. So this song, um,
Let's just talk about the elephant in the room. There are 7 duets between Troy and Gabrielle in this film. There are way too many.
most of them are reprises of
Yeah,
like
there's 3
songs.
originals.
3 original songs, and they reprise all of them. All
And-
3 of them get reprised.
And then like I also count the brief moment they have in Now or Never as like a duet moment because it
Okay.
is a duet moment,
Yeah.
even if it's
So-
not a duet.
Yeah, out of all of the songs in this movie, literally all of them, this is the one I feel like you can cut this out. And the reason is because we have so many other Troy and Gabriella duets. Like, I know you have other problems with some other songs that
But there's
could be
other
cut.
songs that are more fundamentally required.
Right. This one is like
Super not required.
that's Troy and Gabriella singing, and then they do the same exact thing multiple times later.
The other High School Musicals, I felt like a lot of the plot again was about the core as a group of everything. This is purely a Troy and Gabriella project.
100%. Literally everybody else gets a
And,
back
like-
burner. And like High School Musical 2, they're like, let's let Ryan shine a little bit more. Let's let Chad shine a little bit more. And
Troy,
it's so interesting. And now they're like, no, it's a Troy and Gabriella show.
Look, Troy and Gabriella, I love them as a couple. I think they're very interesting, and I think again in this like casual, replaceable way, they're interesting characters that I want to see well, and they are good as the main characters of this. They shouldn't be leading a 2-hour movie where the whole point is their romance story. When Kelsey and I have said it many times, they're breaking up within a year of college.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah. Like,
we will talk about what we predict their future is like at the end of the movie, but oh my god, there's no way they're sticking together.
and like that's totally fine. It's a high school romance. They're both getting stuff out of it. They enjoy each other. They're enjoying each other's company and everything.
Yeah.
They don't need to be meant to be forever. And I don't think they would be.
No, but right here, right now,
That's like
I'm looking at you and my heart loves the view.
like that's kind of cute lines, you know? Like that's where I think this film this is the one that's needed the least.
yeah.
Actually, Can I Have This Dance is needed the least?
No, because that one's about prom, and it serves literally the same thing. Like
Yeah.
this song is about how they wish they could freeze time and be together right now, and Can I Have This Dance is about them dancing together and how much they love each other. So like they're basically saying the same thing.
Yeah, no, I'm saying you don't. I get people like Can I Have This Dance more, but I think that one's more replaceable for the simple fact of you could put either song in this spot and it'd be fine. But I feel like
No, you gotta have Can I Have This Dance because of the whole prom thing, and then cut this one. I don't know why this one.
I don't think I'm not going to fight this hard enough because I don't actually care. I'm saying one of them should be cut for sure.
Yeah,
I also think half of the songs in this film should be cut.
because there's so many. You know what they could have done instead of this song? Have a plot.
Yes.
But yeah, they sing their little song. The stars open up of the treehouse as they're in it. They're just like going around the treehouse as they sing about how they love each other. And then at the end of the song, Gabriella goes, "Is this Pirate Wheel?"
Oh, and sees that Troy's was a little boy once.
He's a little boy, and she gets all his toys like this little robot in a red cape. And she's like, it's just like kindergarten because
That
that's
cape was Chad's.
yeah, in kindergarten because that's what they said in the first movie. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then Troy's mom comes and gets them. Okay, so now we're back at school, and this is Sharpay's first appearance. She rolls up in school. She gets her whole fabulous like instrumental. She rolls up in her pink convertible.
Yeah, the scoring of the film is just call back to High School Musical too.
Yeah. She's in her pink cowgirl boots. She has big blonde extensions. She's an icon. She is the moment. Sharpay then asks Troy, "Hey, when's the big game?" And he's like, "Yesterday." And she's not paying attention. And she says, "Well, good luck." So she doesn't
She's
actually
over
care.
Troy now.
Yeah. And then Zeke goes, "She's so sweet." And that's like the one line Zeke has.
Yeah.
It is funny though, because he loves Sharpay.
Yeah.
And then Sharpay goes to her double pink locker, iconic, amazing. And all of a sudden, a British girl shows up. And Sharpay goes, "What are you? I mean, who are you?" And she's like, "I'm Tiara Gold. I just transferred from London. And I heard you're looking for a personal
Oh,
assistant.
blimey.
Blimey, I have your whole schedule memorized. And I'm going to be your assistant." And Sharpay's like, "Okay."
This is the exact concept that would work better as a little bit rather than a character. Because
Yeah.
Sharpay having a personal assistant that she like hired to help her with her school day, funny in character.
But then they make her like a villain.
Yeah. And like especially because Sharpay in this film particularly does essentially nothing wrong. I'm not a person who will be like Sharpay was like demonized the whole time. No,
Wasn't a
Sharpay's
villain.
mean, especially in High School Musical 2,
Yeah.
and in High School Musical 1 she gets what is coming to her.
Yeah.
But in this film, she doesn't really do anything wrong.
She acts like she's gonna be up to no good, and she really
She
didn't do
really just
anything
gives
bad.
good advice.
She, like, did one thing that was, like, a little shady, but even then, it wasn't that bad, and we'll talk about it when it happens,
But yeah,
but
like so really I think they could have just Sharpay is Sharpay still in this film. But then when they like have her get humiliated, it feels unearned.
Mhm.
It feels just rude.
Yeah. Okay, so then we get, Rocket Man, he runs into Troy and asks for his gym locker.
He's like, I'm running the team next year because I got that winning shot.
Yeah.
I could have made that shot.
So, like, Troy
Bad at basketball.
Troy was doing a nice thing and like boosting up a freshman. He didn't realize it'd be like the most annoying freshman in the world. But that's just kind of the whole gag about Rocket Man is that he's annoying. And Troy's just like, okay. And then they go into homeroom. Not Rocket Man, he's not in their homeroom, but literally everybody else's. And Miss Darvis starts class. And okay, this is the only time I've like ever noticed this, which is crazy, and has zero consequence, which is why I've never noticed it before.
It's also very out of character, which I kept saying. It's like it's wild.
We were really laughing about this when we were watching it, but Troy has a note passed to him from Gabriella, and it says, "Meet you at free period."
Three in all caps.
Yeah. XOXO G. G as in Gabriella. Why does she sign it like that? Is it because she has a T necklace, T for Troy, and she's G for
Yes,
Gabriella?
reality isn't Troy.
She signed it G, and she also has a full lipstick kiss mark on the sheet of paper.
It's if you change the name to Sharpay, it would make more sense in context.
What? I can't believe what a
Right?
flirt Gabriella is.
This is so out of character for Gabriella.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
She's like,
There's
I want to
free
go.
period.
I want to make out with you.
Let's make
in
out during free
period.
period on the roof with all the flowers.
I guess this is her already being accepted in Stanford. So she's like, I may as well just spend my time kissing Troy,
Yeah. Hello?
even though they are saving it for marriage.
Okay. So then Taylor makes some announcements and she's like, the prom theme is Last Waltz. You'll be the last one to get your tickets. Blah blah blah, more announcements, and then she says, "Any questions?" And then Chad raises his hand and says, "What's the lunch special today?"
Good
Everyone's
one,
like,
Chad.
"Huh." And then Taylor says, "New York Deli."
Ooh.
Burn. She knew what the lunch special was. It's New York Deli.
Yeah.
What's a New York Deli?
I don't know. just a sandwich you would get at a New York deli.
I've never been in New York.
I mean, have you been to a deli?
Yeah.
And that's basically the same stuff. There's just a ton of delis in New York.
Sick. All right. And now Sharpay has an announcement for the spring musical. Sharpay's like, oh, everyone's so flustered. We should do something low key. Maybe a one-woman show.
Chad's not Chad. Ryan's like, what?
No. And then Kelsey freaks out and frantically signs people up for the musical. And Miss Darbus is like, how are we doing for the sign up sheet, Kelsey? And she's like, pretty good. And she hands it to Miss Darbus. And Miss Darbus is like, oh, it's like the entire homeroom. And everybody looks at Kelsey like, oh shit. And then Miss Darbus says, see everybody in free period for auditions. And Troy looks back at Gabriella and it's like, but our kiss.
We're in this top lips.
What the heck? And she's like, I don't know. I thought free period was for smooching, but now it's for musical. And dang.
Damn.
So that's the only consequence that that note had. That literally didn't matter that you could miss it. But you gotta pause to see the little smoochy lips. All right, in the auditorium, everybody's yelling at Kelsey because they're like, "I'm so busy. I
I'm so
can't do a
busy with
musical."
all my stuff.
Yeah,
What does Gabriella say? Because she ain't busy.
I don't think Gabrielle said anything.
She's
but
the one who's like, I'll do it.
yeah, Jason says he has to study because he's definitely going to have to retake his exams a few times to pass and graduate. I think Zeke is baking a lot. Taylor is like doing yearbook and prom and all this
Taylor's
stuff.
doing way too many extracurriculars when she's already into Yale.
Well, that's how you get into Yale, probably. And Troy's like working on his truck every weekend. I don't remember if Chad had anything to do.
Yeah, he just doesn't like it.
He's like, I want to play more basketball.
Also, I would like to point out that, like, canonically, Chad hasn't been in a musical, right?
True. But he
Taylor,
did the performance in the summer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Same with Taylor.
Yeah.
Same with Jason. Same with Zeke.
They all did the performance in summer.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what's crazy actually that I just realized, and before we were talking about the timing of like auditions and stuff, in High School Musical 1, it was the winter musical.
Yeah.
And now they're doing the spring musical. Did they just wrap up the winter musical?
Maybe.
But that doesn't make sense.
Maybe they skipped it. Not enough funding in the department.
Maybe
Now that they gave Sharpay second place.
Yeah. Whatever. We don't have to harp too much about it. Okay. Kelsey's like, sorry, geez, I just thought everyone would want to because it's like the last show we can all do together. And they're like, no. And then Gabriella says, yeah, we should. It's our last chance to do something all together. And they still say no. And then she looks at Troy with puppy dog eyes.
And Troy's like, fine. He raises his hand and says,
I'll do.
And everyone's like, cool. Troy's the one we care about.
Immediately after Troy raises his hand and says, I'm in, everyone else is like, we can make it work.
Question. Yeah. Who has more power? Gabriella or Troy?
100% Troy.
But Gabriella has control over Troy.
Oh, shit.
It's a power dynamic.
Troy's the head, but Gabriella's the neck that turns the head.
Yeah.
Damn. You're right. Troy's a simp at the end of the day.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. He'll do anything for Gabriella. It's crazy. All right. And then they say, what's the show about?
Chad says, what's it about? Miss Starbucks says, you. And this is how we get Chad the musical.
Chad the musical. And Sharpay faints. Chad the musical. It's about basketball and hanging with the boys.
I'd watch that more than what they actually come up with. They say, we're going to create a show all about
you.
Yeah.
You guys are going to write it. Which I guess it's not a new thing for this school to have original musicals because that's what Twinkletown was also. But
she's like, it takes a lot of effort it's easy to play someone else, but playing yourself, that's a challenge.
Is it?
Yeah. So they're going to write this musical, and I'm going to spoil it again here. The plot's terrible.
There is a plot. I think it's just a series of musical performances, which is exactly what this movie is.
And it's also bad in that. Yeah. I remember there being a quiz bowl question once where the answer was senior year specifically.
That's the name of the
musical from High School Musical 3.
That's crazy. Yeah, we'll call it senior year. And Sharpay's like brilliant. Kelsey's going to compose, Ryan will choreograph, and Miss Darbus will direct. And now for important news from Juilliard.
Oh my god, Juilliard, the one school that everyone knows is good for the
Yeah.
arts.
Well,
Like,
you know what's crazy though is that in Glee, there was a whole plot point where Rachel and Kurt are like, obviously, we're going to go to Juilliard because we want to be musical theater. And they realize that Juilliard isn't really a musical theater school.
mhm,
It's like way more classical
yeah,
music. So they're like, fuck, we have to change course. We're not going to go Juilliard.
like they would have gotten in.
And they made up a fake school called NIATA, but really it's just like NYU theater program, but it was a fake school called NIATA. So I don't know why they're pretending in High School Musical 3 that Juilliard is also for like musical
It's
theater.
because it's the one school that the general audience knows of the arts that is
Yeah.
respected.
Do they have dance at Juilliard? Maybe then Ryan will fit in. Because that's what
Don't
he
you
wants to
remember in
do.
Gotta Kick It Up when the teacher was at
She was
Juilliard for
yeah,
dance?
she dropped out immediately though.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, but like,
Um,
yeah, the people that get scholarships for Juilliard in the end, spoiler alert, if you're listening to this podcast, you've seen High School Musical 3.
Jeez Louise.
Um,
Um,
Ryan can easily like learn more about dance there and
and
choreography,
Kelsey
and
can
Kelsey can learn about
compose.
composing,
Yeah.
even if it's composing for a musical theater. Like,
Yeah.
there's still a
No, that
lot of
makes
stuff
sense.
within there.
I
So
don't know what Sharpay would be doing there.
that's why she doesn't get it. She goes to the
Yeah.
University of Albuquerque.
Oh my
What
god.
the fuck?
Okay, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, important news from Juilliard. For the first time in East High history, they're considering 4 of you for the scholarship.
Yeah, last year they considered 5.
Okay, so
This is so dumb.
so here's the thing about this movie is scholarship is equivalent to admission.
Which in Juilliard is an expensive school. I fully understand that. Kelsey probably needs the scholarship.
She probably
Troy probably does too. Troy's also nominated for this.
But why is it like, oh, one of you can get a scholarship? And like apparently Juilliard comes to East High in Albuquerque, New Mexico for one student from East High to get a scholarship?
No, it's dumb. Well, this doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
The
sense.
plot of this movie, anything that's like a crux opinion on this plot is like illogical.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't work to even just make a through line to be able to get through the plot. Like, it's just musical numbers slightly segued
Yeah.
through character moments.
You know what though? As a kid, it's like, yeah, the scholarship. That means you got in. Like, I didn't know what that meant as a kid. When I was an adult, I'm like, why the hell do you need a scholarship to go to a school? I mean, in this economy, you do. But like, you can just apply. Anyway, okay, so 4 of them are being considered, right? Sharpay, obviously. Ryan, obviously. Kelsey, oh my God, they got her letter or whatever. Yeah, cool. And Troy Bolton.
And when this happens, Chad and Jason and Zeke all start going,
Yeah. Then he's like,
because they
what?
still hate musical theater, even though they're doing a musical theater performance.
Well, to go to school for it is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miss Darby says 2 like
Do you think
representatives from
Juilliard has a basketball program?
No. You think Julia is
They
no.
probably have a club team.
No. Miss Darvis says 2 people will come from Juilliard to see the show and make their decision. And then
We'll get to it in the performance, but yeah, nothing in that logic makes sense.
yeah, they have to decide right then and there, and it's all depending on their performance in the musical. And yeah, sure. Troy is like, haha, very funny. Who's a big comedian? I didn't even apply to Juilliard. I've never even heard of Juilliard. And Miss Darvis says, well, evidently, Juilliard has heard of you. Now, let's have everybody line up and say what you want your future to look like. And Chad says, easy. U of A, hoops all the way. Hell yeah. Taylor says that she's going to be president.
Of the United States of
Hell
America.
yeah. I'd vote for her.
Yeah, but I don't need to make the joke.
Nope. Martha then interrupts it, and she shows up with a bunch of dancers. Hooray, we have dancers now. And then Darbus asks Troy about his future. He's looking at the pamphlet, at the Juilliard pamphlet, and he's like distracted. And he's like, oh, yeah. But Gabriella saves him and steps in and says, I think we should stage the perfect prom. And Sharpay's like, okay, yeah, cool. But what do I want? Don't know where to begin, but I do know where it ends. Center stage, a single spotlight.
He jumps on stage, spotlight appears on her.
And like in big letters, it says, and then it cuts to lunch and it says New York Deli. This is a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharpay doesn't get to do anything in this movie. You thought she got to do something? She will actually get a musical number.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, so Sharpay goes up to Ryan and she's freaking out about the musical, I guess. And that like they're up to something. They're taking over our drama department again. And
She's got Troy PTSD.
Troy is gonna go to Juilliard, probably. I don't know. Um, and he's like, I think you're worrying about it too much. And she's shockingly breaks into song. Like it's kind of jarring, honestly. Imagine having everything we ever dreamed. Don't you want it?
And Ryan's like the whole time, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Like my character development went a different way in High School Musical too, and I'm still there.
Can't you see it? Kind of. Imagine first audition after college, I get the lead. Apart from me, well, of course. Yeah, right. You gotta believe it. Keep talking. So they keep like back and forth, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Um,
This is just the song I Want It All.
yes.
It is passable.
It's fun. But like Sharpay had to have a number.
Sharpay had to have a number, and it does the job.
It's fun. It's with Ryan. It's basically her just convincing him that like we're gonna get famous together, even though she like obviously mainly cares about herself. But she's like, no, you will too. Also,
I don't love this song because I just don't think it's anything that interesting.
Fabulous is better.
Fabulous does this job more, but like I'm not gonna compare everything Nice Movies to. What I will say is, again, I think half the songs in this movie should be cut. And I don't think this is one of them because this song needs to be here.
It's Sharpay's only song. She sings one more time, but yeah.
So like this needed to happen. It works well for the plot as little as the plot is.
I want it all. I want it.
It's fine. They do some fun stuff, kinda in the dream sequences of doing stuff. I like when they have Troy Bolton come out and like being an obsessive Sharpay fan.
Yeah, that's
a fun moment.
That was fun.
They have all of the rest of the cast like being servants for the Evans.
Yes. So Taylor is a flight attendant. Zeke is like running a luau. Okay. Kelsey's a taxi driver. And then Gabriella's like a sexy maid. That like she's in a sexy maid outfit.
She is in a sexy maid outfit, but maybe it's just because Vanessa Hudgens is sexy, so there wasn't a way to not have that be a maid outfit.
Oh no, it's definitely the outfit that was doing a little much. She turns down Oprah. Chad's a top. I also like when it breaks down. He goes, "Dance, Madison Square Garden."
There's a bunch of people in cat ears for
and Sharpay's wearing like a bob with bangs. It's iconic.
This is where if they continuously use the budget in this way, where they just like up the intensity of everything rather than like up the production value.
Yeah, this part is super fun actually.
Like this is again a peek into where I would like this movie more.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I don't really like the song. I don't think the song is that good, but it gets the job done. I have no real complaints with this film other than the song itself could have been more enjoyable to listen to.
I don't really get why the theming for the dancers is short pink wig with cat ears, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I have a good time. And they name a bunch of cities. New York City. Want it. We want it all. We want it all. Cool. End of song. They're back at lunch. Ryan.
They're just standing up at the cafeteria and like no one cares.
Yeah. And Ryan's like, wait a minute. There's only one scholarship, but two of us. And Sharpay says, we're twins. They have to let us both in.
Yeah, this is so smart. And when Ryan gets taken later, she'll totally go to Juilliard with him.
Yeah, and she says, listen, Kelsey always writes her best songs for Troy and Gabriella. So you make certain we get those songs. And he's like, how do I do that? And she's like, I don't know, take her to prom or something. I don't care. Just do it. This is Sharpay's plot for the movie, kind of, aside from her assistant.
The most evil stuff that she does for the movie is just, hey, Kelsey writes good song for Troy and Gabrielle. Get that song to be for us instead.
Happened last movie too. With You're the Music and Me. So nothing's new is happening. And also it doesn't even go that way. Sharpay is just like she doesn't really have anything to do.
And again, that's a shame because she is the driving force behind the movie, like
Yeah.
the series.
Yeah.
She's what people remember most about the series.
They really backburnered her in the plot, which is sad. Because she's supposed to be the villain.
Yeah.
And she's really
And
not.
she's really not in this film, and that's what's unfortunate about it. The film works better if you could make her a villain.
They're too busy doing a million
Like
other
have her
musical
being like
numbers.
cutthroat about the Juilliard scholarship,
Yeah,
and then
she
when
doesn't even
Ryan
use that.
and then when Ryan gets it, like you can make it a whole bigger moment.
No, like literally, she never mentions Juilliard again.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't even really care. It's stupid. Okay. Um, we get a short little scene. Gabriella gets off the bus. Actually, still rides the bus as a senior. Uh, Taylor's just waiting for her with an umbrella. And Taylor's like, "Did you tell anyone you're up for the Stanford Honors Program and that you might not be here for the musical?" And she's like, "No." And then Troy calls Gabriella and is like, "Come to the roof."
So yeah, Gabrielle and Troy, for as much as they are into each other, they still hide secrets from each other.
Secret, secrets. I got a secret. Gabriella gets up to the roof. There's so many flowers up there, so pretty.
You ready
Troy.
for another song?
Yeah, we just had
Two,
three
three.
total. Yeah, they're really close together because we have to fill the 2 hours with 15 musical numbers. Troy asks for advice for formal wear for prom, and he puts on a jacket, and he gives her tickets and says like, "You want to go prom?" And she says yes later, but yeah. And he's like, "Do you think we'll have to waltz? I don't know how to waltz." It's called the last waltz. And Gabrielle's like, "My dad taught me when I was a little kid. Here, I'll show you. Take my hand, take a breath.
And then they just go on the rooftop garden and they have their little dance.
So can I have this dance?" Okay, so in the lyrics, it's like catching lightning, the chances of finding someone like you. Really. You can't find another Troy Bolton or Gabriela Montez. Really? It's one in a
Yeah.
million, feeling the
This
way we
movie is
do.
trying to sell me on the uniqueness of their relationship when I feel like what I enjoyed most about them was the rationality of it. How believable it was that like you find someone like that in high school.
It's one in a million, the chances of feeling the way we do. Girl, you're gonna fall in love again. I promise.
And like that's what all the other characters are saying.
Troy Bolton's not the son, Gabriella. As much as I love Troy Bolton, like
Yeah.
and also Troy, like Gabriella, like there's other. What does Gabriella have going? She's nice and she's pretty and she's smart.
Out of all songs in the movie, this is the one that's had the longest shelf life, I think.
Yes, people use it like for their weddings.
And like, I don't know, I just have never bought into this song in terms of like being an entertaining song. I get that it's a cute moment for the two of them, but again, we have like six duets between them this movie. So,
Yeah.
like, you're not digging for that.
Also, she's wearing her big ass heels to school.
Going around this rooftop garden with a lot of holes and like the lights and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, out of the three duets that they actually sing and then reprise, like this is probably my least favorite of them.
You like
Which is
right here, right now more?
I feel like I remember right here, right now better.
That's crazy talk.
Which like I don't feel the appeal of this one. It doesn't feel
You're just a
that special.
boy.
I'm a boy.
You're just a boy. You don't understand. They're dancing the waltz and they run the flowers on the roof. And they say, "Let it rain, let it pour." And then it rains. And there's lightning. They say it's like catching lightning. And they do a beautiful dance.
Yeah. But like whenever we watch the 100 DCOM songs ranked videos and stuff, this is always up there.
Yeah, they always rank it high. It's always funny. We could tell, like, oh, this person just loves every single Troy and Gabriella duet because they're all in the top 10.
And like, no.
So,
If we're ranking all of the Troy and Gabriella duets, like genuinely the first movie has the best two.
yeah, that's probably true. Okay, so they finish the song, and he's like, "Is that a yes to prom?" And she says, "Yes, in every language. We see, yeah, yes."
Yeah, the other languages too. She just signed yes. You can't see that.
She's some sign language. And before they kiss, the bell rings. They don't get to kiss yet. You gotta hold it up, just like in His Musical too. You gotta build up for it. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, this scene. So,
We just get a little bit of freshman hazing.
yeah. So
Rocket Man and the other boy are just
they're missing their clothes because they just took a shower. And Troy and Chad are like, "Oh, come get our lockers." And they're like, "Okay." But we had to earn our lockers. So they run off with the clothes. And the boys run through the school with just a
hazing is
towel.
already shitty, and then this is just like not entertaining to watch.
No, they're just bullying them.
They're just bullying
Also,
them.
why did they run around the school naked? They should have just stayed in the locker room and gotten
They're
a
trying to get their
coach.
clothes.
Well, they should have just gotten a coach and said, "Hey, Troy and Chad stole our clothes. Can you go get them from them? We'll wait here in the locker room. Thanks." Instead, they run through the whole school naked.
But this is how these little freshmen become part of the musical.
Not even yet. This isn't even the part where they say they're in the musical, which is crazy. Um, Instead, they end up on stage where everybody is there rehearsing and they're
Taylor takes a
naked.
photo of them for the yearbook because they
Yeah.
all are socially
No,
irresponsible.
let me take the pictures of these naked little boys for the yearbook.
It's gonna be so funny.
So funny. And Miss Darvis gives them detention, or it's so unclear if she gave Rocket Man detention or Troy and Chad.
Rocket Man and Ani.
I don't know his name. It is very unclear. Doesn't really matter.
The scene could have been cut out, and nothing would have really changed.
Yeah. All right. So then Troy and Gabriella get to Gabriella's house in the broken down truck, and Gabriella tries to get Troy to admit that he loves being on stage, and he's like, "Yeah,
I admit it to you.
but my dad and my future, I'm not sure about U of A. It feels like it was chosen for me. I've had other offers, and I'm listening." And Gabriella's like, I also have decisions to make still. But then they're interrupted by the mom. The mom's like, "Do you want a snack?" And Benji said he could tell Troy really wanted the brownies
Troy
because they're
really
really
wanted the
good.
brownies
They're
because
amazing.
I've had them. Random small side note. Actually, at this point, in most college sport situations, you wouldn't be able to switch your uh registration. I believe National Signing Day would already have passed.
Oh, you think he would have had to make a decision already by
Yes,
now?
which is fine for this plot
Yeah.
to switch it up. I don't really care. I'm not going to be a stickler on all of that. But it's just actually interesting within that because they will start getting you into off-season programs with the school.
That makes
School's
sense.
already going to be spending resources on you.
Yeah.
So there's a time where it's like, yeah, okay, you're a student now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now back at school, they're working on yearbook, Taylor and Gabriella, whatever. Chad brings Taylor some sweets that Zeke made. And he
It's
casually
like,
brings
oh,
up,
I got to pick up my tuxedo.
yeah, very casual like. And Taylor's like, "Tuxedo? For what?" And he says, "For prom." And she says, "Oh, honey, if that's an invitation, you'll be dancing with yourself."
And then we immediately cut over to lunch where Troy gives Chad some flowers and be like,
He
all right.
says, "The garden club is rooting for you." And he takes his ball and he's like, "All
Oh,
right,
yeah, wait,
dude."
we missed Rocket Man saying, yo, 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 it's lunchtime.
Rocket Man leads us to lunchtime. Yo, 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 it's lunchtime. He's so cringe.
This, I don't actually dislike this because the whole Promposal thing is kind of cute, although they honestly should have made it bigger. This looks pretty weak by modern
This
standards.
is weak sauce.
But
Did you have any kids stand up on a lunch table and ask someone to prom? Because I did.
yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
It was
but and I
fun.
had people go way harder than this.
Hell
And this
yeah.
is a fictional movie. They should have done a whole musical number here. For all the places that they don't have one, you could actually have a Chad and Taylor number. Take one of the Troy and Gabriella,
Make it Chad and Taylor. Imagine they have a number.
and then that can lead into Night to Remember.
God, we were blessed with a Chad number. I guess he has one in this movie too. He only ever sings duets with the boys.
Yeah. I feel like having those two sing together would have been interesting and new and something to do.
Taylor literally never has a number.
Yeah.
She's only accompanying with the group, and in this movie I think is the only time she gets her own verse and it's a duet moment with Chad. When does she ever get a solo moment? Never, right? Can you think of one?
No.
No. Listen, the final number of the whole freaking series.
So Chad stands on a table.
Well, okay, no. First, he goes up to Taylor and he's like, hey, Taylor, um, do you want to go to prom? And she's like, what? I can't hear you. It's so loud in here. And so Troy, the wingman he is, makes the whole lunchroom
He has
shut
the
up.
power.
He does. He just goes, yo, and they all be quiet and they look. So Chad gets up on a
He says,
table.
my friend has something to say.
Yeah, Troy's my friend has something to say. Go ahead, man. And Chad gets up on a table and says, Taylor McKessie, will you go to prom with me? And she consults with the girlies, and then she says, I'd be honored. Oh, guess now it's official.
This whole thing is something I remember being bigger in the actual film, and then we rewatch here. I'm like, okay, all he does is stand on a table
Yeah.
after being like scolded for being like, so you want to go to prom?
Yeah, you think it's more of a build-up, and it literally is resolved in a minute.
It's not only that, like the actual moment isn't big enough.
No, it's not very big. But it leads right into Night to Remember, which this number I think is also very fun. It's no, it's official. Can't back out. Can't back out. Getting ready. So it's like this song has a lot of back and forth with like the boys are all nervous and don't know what to do for prom, but the girls are so excited to get ready for prom.
All the guys just go like, I hate this.
Yeah.
It's a boomer song.
Yeah. And yeah, the best part is when they're trying on suits and yeah, classic or vintage or plaid. Where's the mirror? I think this tuck is too baggy, too tight. It makes me look weird. That's the best part of the whole song.
This song is fine, but would I cut it to trim the fat? Probably.
No, I think it's fun. I think specifically it's fun because of the choreography. This is like
There's no,
the biggest choreography number I think of the whole movie.
arguably Now or Never, because like a lot of the athletic stuff
Okay,
to the song is also
no.
very
I'm
impressive.
talking dancing, not basketball.
Yeah, and obviously we're not going to talk about Scream.
Yeah, okay. I'm talking about like ensemble and not because like Troy and Chad have their.
I guess I Want It All has a lot of an ensemble.
Oh, that's true. But like I'm talking about the actual cast and not random dancers with pink wigs and cat ears. The choreography is really fun. Yeah, and they go, "Who's that girl? She's so fine. Who's that guy? I don't recognize. Who's that girl? She looks so good." Yeah, and they're pointing at Kelsey and Ryan. Why are those two paired together? We don't know yet. That scene hasn't happened yet, but just pretend it has. And they're like kind of going to prom together. Um, and it's crazy that like in this song they let Kelsey have a little bit of a moment, but then later when they put on the show again, this is supposed to be rehearsal, but whatever, they change it for the actual show. They make it Sharpay, and she's who's that girl? And there is no who's that guy. It's just who's that girl. Whoa, she's amazing. Big fun on the night of nights, the night of night tonight. Let's dance, and they dance, and it's really fun. And it's like, man, Kenny Ortega, he knows how to make.
He does know how to choreograph.
Yeah. And then after the song, Jason gets detention because he was chewing gum. Oh, also Chad's suit has his name and number on the back, which is funny. Yeah.
The costuming throughout this whole film is
Fine.
It's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so then Sharpay tells Ryan to figure out what amazing song Kelsey has what amazing song Kelsey is writing for Troy and Gabriella. And Rocket Man annoys Troy again. And Troy tells him that Sharpay has a secret crush on him, which doesn't really lead to any remarkable plot that couldn't have happened otherwise.
You really expect that to lead somewhere, but it doesn't.
And then Darbus tells Rocket Man that he's an understudy along with Tiara Gold, and they have some banter, and it doesn't lead anywhere because it's pointless. Anyway, new scene. Gabriella shows Taylor the acceptance letter that she has to the honors program for Stanford. She gets like early orientation, which is crazy because like the college school year really should be over or really close to over because high school's almost over and college ends before high school. So I don't really know what this program is, but yeah, they say it's a special 3-week honors program. And Taylor's the only one that knows. But Tiara overhears. So she tells Sharpay. And they look online and see that Gabriella's accepted the program. It starts in 2 weeks. So, oh my gosh, she would miss the whole show if she went.
Wow, that's crazy. She really said, hey, everybody, Troy, can you get everyone to join this musical? It's going to be fun. Bye.
Yeah, well, she didn't know she was accepted yet.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And then Sharpay prints out the website. showing that Gabriella got into the program. Okay, and then we see Ryan. He mopeds to school.
It's kind of wild he drives a moped. It feels out of character.
It's fun. He does it because he can, and he's rich. He can do whatever he wants. Kelsey is playing her new song, and then Ryan comes in. And guys, these characters aren't gay. I don't know why you would think
Yeah,
that
they're
gay.
totally straight
They're totally
and
straight.
thirsting for each other.
Yeah, and we know it because we have this one scene where they interact with each other and kind of flirt. Ryan starts playing her song since it's like written down, and he sings it too. I got a lot of things I have to do, and Kelsey joins him, and they sing the beginning of "Just Want to Be with You," and Ryan says it's beautiful. The whole show is so beautiful. And he's like, "What are you doing for prom?" And she's like, "I don't know. It's like right before the show." And he's like, "Cool. I'll pick you up at 8."
I totally actually buy them going to prom together as like each other's peers.
They literally have like 3 lines of dialogue exchanged to each other, and it's really cute. And I feel like they could have cute chemistry, but this is the only scene they have together.
It's something where, again, it would be a hard line because we clearly don't buy these as endgame. As much as we don't buy any of the relationships as endgame, we really don't buy this one. But like,
They don't have
I
any dialogue.
wish they developed more of a friendship in like High School Musical 2. You know,
Yeah.
because they're still kind of adversaries at that point a little bit.
Well, Ryan starts the whole choreography thing, but that was him bonding with Gabriella,
Yeah.
not with Kelsey at
Yeah.
all. And they have their little plan where they're just mean to Sharpay.
Yeah.
But like Ryan also used to be mean to her in the first one.
Yeah. That's where I'm like, I feel like they could have a cute relationship now that we have an evolved Ryan, but the plot is stuffed with 6 too many songs, so we can't get that.
Yeah. True. So the song cuts into Troy and Gabriella doing it during rehearsals. And this is the 3rd song that Troy and Gabriella sing together. And he's in his iconic red and white shirt. You all know the one. And they practice and they workshop the choreography, and he climbs up the tree. They like recreated Gabriella's balcony.
Very well. The production, whoever's running the set design here should go to Juilliard.
Can you believe that in this musical that the kids are writing about themselves, they have a whole musical number that are about how Troy and Gabriella love each other. That's a whole point of the show.
Yeah, and they're all cool with that.
What is that? Freaking annoying.
These two, man.
It's like, oh, they get a whole
Our love is
solo.
special.
Yeah, it's special. It's gonna last forever. God damn. They need to stop making out during free period, is what I'm saying. But this is a cute song, actually. And Troy's like climbing on the chairs and stuff. Yeah. Okay. After the number, they take 5. Oh, so that one goes, all I wanna do is be with you, because that's their whole motivation.
Yeah.
This movie is being together.
It's really not deep.
Yeah. Sharpay asked Ryan about the song, like, did you get the song? And he's like, no, but I'm taking Kelsey to prom. And Sharpay's like, oh, good job. Now get me the duet. And Ryan says, you know you're not Gabriella. But Sharpay doesn't care.
Yeah. I appreciate she's moved past trying to get Troy. It is purely just,
I want the song.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which presumably is for Juilliard, but she never connects those dots for us, so I can't actually assume that. Now we enter 6 minutes of the film they could have easily cut out.
Literally, let's pause the plot for a second. Hey,
None of this is relevant.
Did you enjoy that song we just had? Do you want another song immediately?
That has no plot relevance. Could be
Literally
stuck
none.
literally anywhere in the movie, and it would have logically worked the same.
Hey. Troy's working on his truck. We know this. This is so
He does
popular.
mention it a lot.
And he keeps breaking down. We could like go to the junkyard.
Yeah, they're going to the junkyard where everyone knows Troy and Chad are legends there. They go hang out with the guy who runs the junkyard, this big guy with a beard, and he's like, yeah, the boys are back.
Yeah, hey boys, you've been coming here for so long.
You guys would just play in this junkyard. Seems kind of dangerous.
Troy
Troy never really cared about fixing up old cars. He did it because he got a car from doing so.
He didn't know he was getting the car in High School Musical 2 until after they already fixed it.
Yeah. But his dad was still, like, forcing him to do it.
Maybe. And he's like, oh, yeah, you boys can't wait to see you play ball next year. All right. And Troy's like still unsure about his future. He wants to make his own choices. And Chad's like, this is what happens when you do a show, man. You're like 5 different people. And Troy said, so? When we came here as kids,
You
we
know,
would be 10
yeah,
people.
we were played at the junkyard all the time.
All the time, and everybody knows this. What a good segue into the song. To get back to the place where you know it all began.
No, we don't.
We do anything we would be.
And yes, is the choreography fun and the boys are back? Yes. Is the song good? I don't think it's great, but like, sure, it's fine. Does this need to be in the movie? So clearly not.
Are the boys good? Yes. Are the boys back? Yes. The boys are so back right now, guys.
Actually, they can't be back if this is the first time they're here.
Boys are back. The junkyard, they've been it the whole time, and we all know this. We've all been
This is
here.
the biggest retcon the film has.
We be anything we wanna be. This song is fun. Is it plot relevant? Not even the slightest. Yeah, they could cut this out. Nothing changes. But we get really fun Zac Efron and Corbin Bleu doing fun dances and singing. Like, who doesn't love that? So that's why I'm here for it. Also, just Kenny Ortega again, just killing it. You could tell the same guy who choreographed Rotten to the Core because it's very similar choreography, and it's so fun. And they like fight a car.
And they briefly show their like 4-year-old self.
That was weird.
I remember people going, "Aw," but like we don't know these people as kids. They're fictional characters.
We met them when they were high school juniors.
Like they're doing all these call-outs that are supposed to be like tugging at the heartstrings,
Yeah.
but it's so irrelevant because none of it actually is relevant.
It's just like, look, they've been friends forever. Wow.
We could cut that out of the podcast and you'd miss nothing. Just like you
Yeah.
could cut this out of the movie and miss nothing.
I also just wanted to note that Kenny Ortega loves the guy sliding down a roof. They did it in Descendants multiple times. They did it in The Boys Are Back. Slide down that roof, my man.
Mm-hmm.
And the song ends, and Chad's like, Troy, what if Juilliard says yes? And Troy doesn't know. Wow, so glad we had that. So glad we had that. No.
This is again my problems with this film. Are this is a 2-hour movie. I'm not even gonna say it's poorly paced, even though it is. Like, it's just there's so much fat that they trimmed because they were like, we're gonna keep every music. I would rather they had refined the music that they had that needed to be kept into better songs, and then use extra time for character development.
Yeah, I know you saying this one could be cut, like, and obviously it can for plot reasons, but the reason I'm cutting right here, right now over it is because we have so many other Troy Gabrielle.
Oh, I'm fine. Come
And
back.
I'm like, no, well, I'm like, I really want Corbin Bleu to do something though.
I think it would be better just make him and like Taylor have a song or something.
That would be fun, but that's not what we have. So we get what we get, and we don't throw a fit.
I'm throwing a bit of fit.
Now we're at Gabriella's house, and Taylor's like, you should be excited about the honors program thing. And Gabriella's like, I don't want to miss everything.
It's like the only thing you're gonna miss is this show that not everyone even wanted to do.
The show that Gabriella convinced all of them to do, but Taylor doesn't care. She's like, you should do this for your future.
Yeah.
And she's like, you get to come back for prom and graduation, it'll be fine. And Gabriella's like, I don't know. Maybe I want to stay. Maybe even next year I want to stay. And Taylor's like, that makes no sense.
It's like Stanford would wait for me.
No, it wouldn't. And Gabriella says, why does it have to make sense? Like, I'll take a gap year. Maybe I'll go to U of A for a year. And Taylor goes, U of A? Well, this is about Troy. Listen, I know he's your first crush, but... And then silent. Damn, it's not just a crush. And she apologizes. I'm sorry. I meant relationship, not crush. But there will be other guys. I promise.
And you know what? Later on, we have a very similar thing here where Troy gets told basically the same thing.
Yeah, it's so funny that Taylor is telling Gabriella this when she is in a high school relationship right now. She's like, I'm dropping Chad as soon as I leave.
But Chad says basically the same thing. And I really respect that. That both of them are like, this is fun for right now. This ain't lasting.
No, we're gonna go to college and we're gonna break up, and that's just what happens. And you know what? Taylor's real for this.
Taylor is real.
Like, Gabriella, there are other Troy Boltons in the sea. You're going to Stanford.
Going to Stanford.
Stanford so you can stay with your dreamy boyfriend
Like,
from
you
high
want to
school.
jock Tashi Dunkins right at the college at the same time.
Art, go check out the tennis player.
There's a lot of chemistry there as well.
Yeah. Um, yeah, this is actually insane. Like, imagine if Gabriella did this, and we are under the assumption 100% that Troy and Gabriella do not last. She
And
would be
again,
so
it's
mad at
something that I
herself.
like about this whole thing. It feels way more realistic to a high school romance.
Yeah,
But,
and
like,
imagine she, like,
she's allowed to have these opinions and stuff, but, like, she's not allowed to go through with this, and she doesn't.
good. Like, she would so regret doing it.
No.
She just would. Especially we learn later, she's going into law.
Which is wild.
You want to put that off for a year? That takes fucking forever. Oh my god.
How much money you got? I guess she's probably getting, like, a full ride.
She probably is a good
But then you know
scholar,
what?
but-
They might not wait for her to give her a full ride.
Yeah, she's in this honors program, and imagine if she goes back to Stanford and says, actually, I'm going to take a gap year.
God.
Girl, stop it right now.
Like, yeah. And it's not even saying Troy's a bad dude. It's just like you can separate amicably. It's fine.
Yeah. No, for real. And then her mom comes in and she's like, high school feels like the most important thing while you're in it, but things will change. And Gabriella's like, it doesn't have to change. I don't believe that. And he's like, sometimes life happens whether we want it to or not.
This movie has a hard time trying to justify if its moral is when you leave to college, your like life is changing and you have to accept the old adventures while like saying thank you to the new ones, or hey, your connections at high school are important and valuable still. You should like try and keep that up and keep together. And like it never actually answers which way you're trying to go, which is fine because I guess the real life is in the middle, but I feel like the movie is flawed in that way.
This movie, and I know it's called High School Musical, this movie does want you to believe that high school is the most magical time and that life doesn't get better.
Yeah.
And that's not true. There's so much life after high school.
Mhm.
Ugh. You ready for a reprise?
Yep.
We get like the Bolton and the Danforth families having dinner, and they're all happy except for Troy. Because they all celebrating U of A stuff, and Troy's unsure about his future, and he's sad in his treehouse, and he pulls out his kazoo again, and starts kazooing his sad kazoo music, and he turns his head, and Gabrielle is also on her balcony with her kazoo facing
They
the
live
same way.
miles apart.
They live miles apart, but they both are right. They're saying with their kazoos, right here, right now, even though they are not together right here, right now, but spiritually they are. Cue kazoo. End of kazoo. And now at school, Troy's at his locker and Sharpay shows up. All right, you ready for Sharpay to be a villain? In quotes?
In quotes, because all she does is give good advice. Yes, she spills the tea, but on publicly accessible information.
So true. So Sharpay shows up and she's like, congratulations, Troy. And he's like, thanks. Yeah, we did win that basketball game. And she's like, no, I meant for Gabriella. She's congratulating Troy for Gabriella's success.
Yeah, they can't talk to each other.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, her missing the show is so sad, but Stanford is like cool or whatever. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's public knowledge. Literally everybody's talking about it, which isn't true, but she's pretending it is. And she's like, yeah, it starts next week. You really didn't know? That's awkward. I guess her not telling you means she's on the fence. But you should encourage her since the only thing that could possibly be holding her back would be you.
Like the way she says this is an evil way, but everything she says is facts.
Is so true. And Troy wouldn't hold her back.
No.
Like,
And all yeah. And like again, it's just yeah, she's doing it for selfish means, but she's getting them where they need to be.
all she does is tell Troy the secret that like he should know.
She should have
about.
known this by now.
Gabriella should have told him.
Gabrielle should have told him.
And it's like kind of the same thing she did in the first movie where she tried to get Gabriella on the math team so she wouldn't do the musical. And that didn't really work in her favor. And this one does kind of work in her favor, but again, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's just like, isn't that evil? The first one was definitely more evil. This one is not that evil.
In the first film, the most evil thing that happens is the mean jerks.
Yeah, that wasn't even Sharpay. She
No.
had no involvement in that, despite the movie building up like she would
Then
have
it was like
involvement in
that
that.
they changed the date of everything just to try and not let them be able to
Yeah,
make the
yeah, yeah.
callbacks.
This
But
one, she's just like, "Hey, Troy, Gabriella has this thing," and that's it.
I'm
That's all Sharpay does.
so fine.
Poor Sharpay. You got so gypped in this movie. Okay, so now we're at Gabriella's house. Troy calls her on her phone, and "You Are the Music in Me" is her ringtone, which is cute. And he shows up with pizza, and he climbs up the tree, and they have a late night picnic in her room. And he brings up the program. He's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And she's like, "'Cause I knew what you would say." And he says, "Of course you should go." And she's like, "Maybe I'll stay here for a whole year." And he says, "You can't put off Stanford. You have to go. It's the right thing to do." And she's like, "Maybe you want to be a little crazy, though. I just want everything to slow down to a stop." And he says, "We're going to graduate. Okay, it's going to happen. Nothing's going to slow down." And she says, "I guess my heart just doesn't know it's in high school."
Cringe.
Yeah,
Like, I don't need to harp on this too much. I've said all my thoughts.
obviously she should go, blah, blah, blah. And then Gabby says, "You don't," sorry, Gabriella says, "You don't need to say anything else. I'm better at goodbyes than you. I've had lots of practice." This is when she heel turns and she's like, "Fine, I'll just go.
Yeah.
And I never want to see you again." And he says, "Why do we have to say goodbye? We still have prom.
Right. Troy again is like, yeah, it's gonna suck that you're not doing the show, but like, we're gonna graduate together.
We're gonna go to prom
We're gonna prom
together."
together,
And
and there'll be sometime in the summer, presumably.
she mentally already shut off.
Yep.
She's
She's
like,
like, we're
"Fine,
broken up.
I'm gonna go to Stanford and I'm never coming back." Because he's like, "Let's not, no, we don't have to say goodbye forever." And she's like, "I just meant tonight." Haha, clearly she didn't. And so they say their sad goodnights, and he climbs down the tree, and his truck won't start, so he has to walk. And then
And
she
he has
starts her
to
song,
walk away.
and she starts singing, "I guess I should have known better." This is the quintessential Gabriella is leaving song.
This is another song. I wouldn't cut it. Honestly, I think this one's fine, but I think the other two are better. They're more funny and
That's
iconic.
fine. Honestly, in the movie, the song is pretty short. I think they cut it down
Yeah.
to make it fit. It's just her singing about walking away. Don't look back. 'Cause if my heart breaks, it's gonna hurt so bad. And she leaves her house, and like all the pictures and stuff on the wall like disappear as she's going. I guess her mom also just sells the house and moves
Well,
within a week.
again, I feel like there's a throwaway line in High School Musical 2 or 1
I think it's one where she says she's staying.
where it's like
Yeah,
I'm not moving rest of my year, even though like my dad, because they like move around all the time. Because I think her dad's like a military person,
don't
and they're
remember.
like, okay, you're just gonna stay in this school even if we're not fully stationed here for
Yeah,
your year. So like they probably were planning to get out of that house.
I guess it happens really fast.
It happens in a montage.
Yeah. Gabriella leaves with her mom, and Troy is alone on the roof in the school. So then in the auditorium, just a short little scene, Darbus announces that Gabriella isn't here anymore. Sharpay will now do the duet with Troy. And Tiara will do Sharpay's part because she was her understudy. And everyone is sad, but Sharpay's like, "Come on, guys, let's do it for Gabriella."
I feel like
Fake
Tiara could
bitch.
easily just do Gabriella's part.
I know. I don't know why they have to put I guess Sharpay was Gabriella's understudy,
I
and
don't
then
know.
Tiara was
Maybe
Sharpay's
Sharpay just
understudy.
has a smaller part. Which
It's
why
just the
she?
prom thing.
Yeah.
I guess she's not in I Want It All for some reason. I don't know why she wouldn't be, but that's Ryan's number now. Okay, at home, Troy is sad and he eats a cookie. And he goes outside and he sees that his dad is shooting some hoops. It's pretty late though. And Troy grabs the ball and he makes a basket. And as we know anything from this series, that means that his emotions are in check. Because he's only when he can't make a basket, that's when he's sad.
He makes the first shots here. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then like he's like, "How's Gabriella doing?" Is that when he misses?
No, I think it's on how it's the big show go.
Yeah, how's the big show going? And Troy's like, "You would want to know." Um, and then he like Troy's
Yeah,
dad
Troy
hard
Stagg
passes.
rebounds the ball, like hard passes to Troy's chef, and goes, "When are you gonna tell me about Juilliard, bitch?"
He does not call his son a bitch. But he pulls out the pamphlet. He's like, "When are you going to tell me about Juilliard?" And he says, "There's nothing to tell." And he says, "Maybe there is. I heard you talking to other schools." And Troy's like, "Yeah, other schools talk to me." And he's like, "But U of A is all we've ever talked about. And what about Chad?" And Troy's like, "Chad will get over it, but you won't."
Troy Bolton has daddy issues. What I feel like his dad, well, might take some time on some stuff, is not that unapproachable.
Yeah.
'Cause
I mean, since the first movie, he's come around a lot.
yeah, especially when he's talking to other schools about basketball still. I don't think it's the end of the world if he chose a place that wasn't University of
Why
Albuquerque.
does it have to be U of A?
His dad's like, that's what I thought you wanted, basically.
Since you were a kid. You've been going there since you were a kid. You talked about wearing a Red Hawks uniform. And he's like, "Well, I'm not a little kid anymore. You raised me to make my own choices, so I have to make them. Not you, not Chad, me." And then he storms off. And then Troy goes to the high school during a thunderstorm
Yeah, he just runs into the school.
in his emo zip-up hoodie.
Man, no one can be here at this time.
Yeah, and he walks in the halls, and he goes to the locker room, and he goes to his locker, and he takes his shirt off. Hot damn. And then, and then he puts on his basketball jersey. The day the door is closed, the echoes fill your soul. The song is incredible.
Let's just bet on it again.
But, yeah, not that
Bet on it,
but also
bet on it, but more emo.
Yeah, way more emo.
Same amount of cringe, same amount of choreography.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hard to be emo when you're stomping around a golf
this
course.
is the only song, because again, we talk about a lot of the High School Musical 2 one. There's a lot of comparable songs. There's a lot of stuff to talk about with everything.
Yeah.
There's like formula for this, and obviously there's way more songs than this one. But in the Troy solo, like emotional turmoil trifecta,
Yeah.
that's probably the one they nail the most in consistently.
Oh, because it's always good.
This is the one song that is like universally nailed in this.
Yeah. Troy always has a baller song. First one is Get Your Head in the Game, which I think is the weakest one.
Yeah.
But it's still
iconic.
Yeah. And then there's Bet on It. Amazing, incredible. And then Scream, which is like also amazing, incredible.
Yeah. So there's so many good little moments within this. For one, they use the same rotating hallway that Inception uses.
It's so incredible. He's in this spinning hallway, jumping around. You know, the janitor's out there back where he's just like freaking the fuck out. It's so funny.
I love when they like pull back and he's just storming up the stairs normally, and it's like very normal.
Yeah,
like nothing crazy's going on.
You're forgetting the beginning. There's CGI basketball, falling all around him, and he's like punching them. It's so awesome.
It's so clear none of the basketballs exist except for like the one he stands on.
Yeah,
it's great. It's great.
It's incredible. And there's like a thunderstorm happening the whole time. There's like lightning coming through the windows.
Yeah. At one point, there's just a sign in this random East High School hallway that just says Juilliard.
Banner that a student made that says Juilliard. So it could be like, "Whoa, I'm conflicted." And then in the lunchroom, there's a giant banner of him playing basketball. We know the school does this. That's the first movie.
Hey, Chad also had one there, and
it was
Jace.
It was Jason. I think it was Zeke.
I think it was Zeke.
Zeke was the third banner. It was a trifecta banner. He pulls down the giant banner of himself playing basketball, and then he goes to the auditorium and he's like jumping around the ropes, and he's on stage and there's a whole bunch of lights. Who's operating that? And then he screams, makes me want to scream.
Scream is pretty weak after a whole song leading up to it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden Miss Darbus is there? Whoa.
She was just having her own emotional crisis, but we didn't get to hear the Miss Darbus song.
I don't know how to stage a musical without Gabriella. I guess Sharpay will step in. Who's the British chick? You like those?
I do.
Yeah, Miss Darbus is there to like work on the musical now that Gabriella's gone, and Troy is here to scream. Or just to think. And she's like, on the stage can be a wonderful place for self-discovery. You look real comfortable up there. Which is why I submitted the application to Juilliard.
Yeah, so Miss Darbus did the application for Troy.
It was her. That's a crime.
It is a literal crime.
Do you think there's got to be an application fee for Juilliard,
Yeah.
right? She paid that. She's like, ah, yes, the one straight boy to do my musical. She should go to Juilliard.
Is Troy really that good of an actor?
He only
Canonically,
he only likes to sing with Gabriella.
I don't think he's that good.
He's really good at karaoke, and that's about it. And he did a musical one time, twice now, I guess.
She just likes Troy's story.
He's only good when he's singing Kelsey songs with Gabriella.
Yeah.
And that's what he should make a career out of. But Gabriella's going to be a lawyer, so.
Yeah, Gabrielle wasn't like, I'm gonna go into theater.
Darvis says, I applied for you because it's better to consider opportunities now than in 10 years. If I overstepped, I apologize. And he said, no, I'm not mad. I'm just confused. And she's like, you need to trust your instincts. It takes courage, which you do not lack. And that's it. We just
Ooh.
gloss over that Darvis is a criminal. But whatever. At Stanford, Gabriella's walking around. At school, Ryan's working with Troy on the choreography, but Sharpade's hard to dance with. Troy's not good at theater if he's not with Gabriella. I don't know why he's considering theater as a major, but whatever. The set falls down. We're going to take 5. Troy talks with Kelsey. He's frustrated that he can't get it. And Kelsey's like, yeah, it's hitting all of us with Gabriella gone, but it'll be okay. And then back to Gabriella. She rides a bike with a basket.
She's having a grand old time in Stanford.
Oh, why we
Living her
check
best
in
life.
on her here. I guess she's just fine. At Troy's house, he's there with Chad. They show Troy's mom the suit he got, and she's so excited. And then Gabriella calls Troy. Right, this is important. He calls and he's like, "Oh, hey, I just showed my mom the suit. It's so exciting.
Gabrielle was like, we need to talk.
We need to talk." And this is the direct quote.
Please explain this to us.
I can't be a little adult right now, Troy. I'm hoping you understand that.
No, don't even say that.
What the fuck does that mean?
That is not real dialogue. That doesn't actually work.
Yeah, no, that is the real dialogue
Yeah.
from the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense. She says, "I can't be a little adult right now.
Which I think she's trying to say, like, I can't be a high schooler.
I can't be mature about this." Like, and he knew what she was talking about. He says, "Don't even say that." What? Yeah, don't say that because it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
maybe we're underrating how close they are because they understand what they mean by this.
I love how she says too, "I can't be a little adult right now, Troy. I'm hoping you understand that." Understand what? I don't
I'm
even
trying to
understand this.
understand.
I don't even understand the sentence you said. But oh my gosh, prom's in 2 days. She's supposed to fly back, and she's like, "It's taken 2 weeks to get used to being away from everyone. So what? I come back and go to prom and then leave again, and then graduation and I leave again." Girl, yeah, you should do that because it's your one time to have a prom and your one time to have a high school graduation. And this program we learned earlier is only 3 weeks. You still have the whole summer too, don't you? Why did she move out of her house? What's going on?
None of this plot makes sense.
None of it makes sense. Oh, apparently the only thing she was gonna miss is the show. Like, it's only been 2 weeks, and she's like, "It's too hard. I can't come back for a day and then leave for another week and then come back." Like, a week 2 weeks is not that long. Like, girl, come back for prom, come back for graduation. You are being dramatic. But she's just shutting off. She's run out of goodbyes. "I love you, Wildcat, but I need to stay where I am." And then she hangs up. Whatever. They're just really trying to have a dramatic plot where Gabriella leaves again, because that's the High School Musical
That's
formula.
the formula. Yeah.
Troy tells Chad, like, "She's not coming back, man. She's not coming back." And that's where they have their bro moment. And he says, "That's lousy, man. It really is." But then you know what Chad does?
Gives him some life advice and says, I'm going to dump Taylor, even though she's going to be the president.
Bring the girl with you after high school. Gabriella's already one step ahead, as usual. Right now, you gotta snap out of it. She's off to Stanford. And I'm right there with you. Taylor's going to Yale. And you and me are going to U of A. It's a whole new ball game. Well, what if I don't see my life as a ball game anymore?
Looks at a picture. He looks at his desk stand, and it's just a picture of Gabriella and a little basketball.
Which one do I choose?
He didn't get into Stanford.
Yeah, but basically, Chad's like, bro, we're gonna be college students.
You think they're gonna be roommates?
Don't you? Oh yeah, they definitely were planning to. But he's like, don't you want to like sleep around? We're gonna be in college, dude. You don't
We're
want
gonna
to.
be D1 athletes.
You think you want to be tied down with your high school girlfriend? No. Which honestly, he's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Love isn't real. High school sweethearts don't usually last. There are cases where they do. There definitely are. We've seen it. But hey, a lot of times they don't.
It would be a different story if this was Zed and Addison.
Zed and Addison are Endgame, and Troy and Gabriella are not Endgame.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
I fully believe in Zed and Addison, and I don't believe in these.
And it's wild because I feel like Zed and Addison are close, like, would have less turmoil if they were forced to break up.
Mhm.
But it's because I feel like they respect each other too much. They, like, basically break up.
They were forced to break
Yeah.
up for like an hour.
Yeah.
But then they didn't have to.
And it was just like, this is where it needs to be, has to be. But, like, yeah, no. We're on the same page for that.
Yeah. And then Chad's like, hey, we'll go to prom. You'll be with your friends and have a good time, all right? And Troy says, oh, I don't plan on missing my prom. So he's a plan.
He has a plan.
Gabriella's on campus again with her bike. And then she sees Troy's truck.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, he's
How
on
is his truck here in Stanford? Oh my god, Troy's on a tree?
tree.
He loves trees.
It's with you in trees.
Yeah.
Heck are those two doing in a tree?
He says, I took a wrong turn on the way to prom.
And so did you.
Yeah, but I can see clearly up here.
Yeah. Prom is 1,000 miles away. No, prom is wherever you are.
Prom is where the heart is, and Gabriella, you have my heart.
My last dance at Eats High is gonna be with you.
Not at East High.
Take my hand.
Yeah, they do. Can I have this dance again?
Again.
I would like to point out that earlier on we get told that this is Troy's first dance, which A means any dance that was like in the fall or winter of their senior year, they just didn't go to
They didn't go to
together.
their junior prom.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah,
And second of all, this is not even your first dance or last dance at East High. You're not at East High.
it would be
You're
the
at Stanford.
dance. Oh yeah, you're at Stanford. So they dance, they reprise it, and they're dancing around the tree. But they also imagine being at prom. And they switch partners with Chad and Taylor for a little bit, which is cute. I don't know why they do that. It was cute.
Yeah.
And then after the reprise, they kiss finally.
Aww, even though they're like broken up
No,
still.
they're not broken up. They're together forever. Troy's like, you know, I'm not the only one you changed at East High. Kids I used to pass in the hallways, we're friends now.
We were like, Kelsey?
I guess Kelsey's who he's talking about. Because the rest of the people are basically basketball people. And I guess
And
like
Chad,
Taylor.
or not Chad, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan, Taylor.
Jets.
That's about it. What about the cello guy? But he's like, we're supposed to be doing a show together. East High changed when you got there, and now it's changed again that you left. Okay. So he's like basically saying that the whole franchise, everything that happened is like Gabriella. She's the magical light that changed things. What did she do?
Exist.
She existed and said, I don't want to do the musical. And everyone's like, whoa, what? You're smart. And
Why is everyone staring at me? I really can't take this right now.
Roy simped for her so hard that he also did the musical.
Yeah. And now he's going to Juilliard.
And since everybody just does what Troy says, I guess Gabriella changed everything. I guess you're right. Gabriella is the most powerful.
Yeah.
Because Troy's just a simp at the end of the day.
He's the muscle.
Yeah.
She's the brain.
Yeah. He says you might be ready to say goodbye to East High, but East High isn't ready to say goodbye to you.
First off, aw. Second off, you don't get to say that. That's like guilt tripping her back.
She should go to prom
Yeah.
and the musical. Well, no, not into the musical, but she was supposed to miss no matter what. When is prom?
Yeah.
Maybe they do end up going to prom. I don't know.
No. I think prom prom was 2 days before the musical. We got told
Then
that.
why were they saying that she would miss the musical and not prom?
I don't know. It doesn't make sense. Is she quitting her program?
program's only 3 weeks.
This is stupid. This is why this movie, I don't like it that much. I don't.
The plot is very thin.
The plot is bad.
The plot's kind of bad.
I don't even think kinda. I think the plot is just bad.
The plot's
There,
bad.
the little bits of plot there are is still littered with holes and like inconsistencies. Imagine this is the first time you watch High School Musical
And you just
of
watched the
any
third
High School
one?
Musical. You watched the third one. You took your kids to it in theaters, and you didn't watch the first couple when it was on TV.
You'd be like,
You'd be like,
okay.
why the fuck does anyone care about this? You know,
Yeah.
it would be the most. It would be jarring.
The best plot that this movie has is Troy and Gabriella's friends telling them that they should break up because they're going off to college and should date other people. Like that's the best that this movie does for a plot.
Yeah,
That's interesting. If the whole movie was that, at least that's something, you know?
but it's not.
Yeah, okay. So
All
back
right,
at
let's
school.
let's watch senior year.
Yeah, the show is gonna start. Everyone's taking their seats. Sharpay talks to their parents on the phone. I guess they came back from India. Which when we see them, they're wearing like Indian clothing. That's honestly probably offensive. They're white as hell.
But it would be in character to be offensive.
Yeah, they don't care. Rocket Man talks to Sharpay. This is where you think like Troy telling him that Sharpay likes him is gonna mean something. It doesn't really, because this could have happened without Troy talking to him about that. Um, she hates his cologne and sneezes when she smells it, and she doesn't like him, so she leaves. And then Troy texts Rocket Man, like, been driving all night. We'll try to make it for the second act. Would break a leg. So Rocket Man is taking Troy's place. Um, and
Oh my god, the
yeah.
Juilliard people are here.
Also, the Juilliard people are here. They
So
take their
these are
spots.
two people who flew out to go watch a single stage performance of what ends up being like the most chaotic show ever.
Well, just because there's no plot, they just sing songs.
No, but like people are changing characters mid.
Oh, just Sharpay and Troy.
Well, Tiara is also
Oh,
there.
that too.
They're changing the choreography that Ryan ends up getting rewarded for
True.
multiple times throughout.
Yeah.
Gabriella comes in and she like wasn't staged for all of that.
Mhm.
We have multiple Troys, multiple Sharpays.
Yeah.
Like this is a disaster of a
It kind of
performance,
is.
and we're supposed to like be told this is good.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm like, that's the only thing I know from High School the Musical, the series.
High School Musical, the musical series.
This is basically like season 1, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, it was a shit show when they
And
put on High School Musical.
this is also a shit show.
It is.
It's the same shit's going on.
I would say the show did it. It was more of a shit show, personally, but oh. Okay, so the show starts, and Kelsey gets on the piano. It's our last chance to share the stage. So this whole medley is its own track on the CD, and it starts with this little intro. Kelsey sings and Ryan sings, and they're like, "Come on, come on."
Wait, I think this is the part that was a part of the Oscars back in the faction. The last chance to share the
It's a
stage.
chance to share the stage.
That would
They
fit
sang that
more.
at the Oscars.
That would fit more with like what they were doing as a medley.
Before
I didn't
we
look up and
go our separate ways, high school wasn't meant to last forever.
yeah, get out. Fuck you, Gabrielle.
Yeah. Um yeah, so this is the like one track of the CD I would always skip. I'd maybe listen to the intro because it's different, but then they literally just reprise Now or Never. So that's how the show starts. They do like Now or Never. They do I Want It All. And it's like just little tiny snippets. They don't do even like a full verse or anything. They do like part of a chorus. And they do Just Want to Be With You, which lasts fucking forever. And that's about it. That's like the medley. So I would always skip it on the CD. But anyway, yeah. So they do Now or Never. Chad, that's his number, and they have basketballs. And the choreography is very like get your head in the game with the basketball. It's fun. And the cheerleaders are there, and it's cool. And we see Sharpay getting ready in her room, and no one told her that Troy isn't going to
People
be
keep
there.
trying to tell her,
but she doesn't
but
care.
she won't let them say it.
And then Brian does I Want It All with the pink hair cat ladies. I guess they are real. And the Juilliard people see him and they're like, "Oh, he's the choreographer." Um, and then afterwards, Sharpay sees Ryan backstage and says, "Aw, cute pants," because he has pink pants.
Mhm.
But she still doesn't know that Troy's not there. So she goes up on stage and she starts, "I just want to be with you." And let me say, Sharpay version, pretty fun.
Always slaps harder.
Oh,
Sharpay, she could get like a producer school, you know? She
Mm-hmm.
can take these good songs that Kelsey is writing and spruce them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rocket Man tries to hype himself up in the dressing room, and then we get to his cue. She goes, "Even if we're miles apart, but no one's there.
And then, man, they're just making her look bad in front of Juilliard.
Even if we're miles and miles and
Even though it's
miles
clearly not her fault.
apart." Dun dun dun. And Rocket Man busts through. "All I wanna do is be with you, be with you." And she hates it. And he's all over her. And she sneezes at his cologne again. And she goes, "Ew." And then Sharpay leaves the stage and everyone applauds Rocket Man. And then Troy and Gabriella show up and she's like, "Oh, great, go ahead, save the day. Whoopee." So
So they go and do that.
and then Sharpay goes in her dressing room and she sees Tiara has a copy of her dress, her prom
How
dress.
dare she?
Yeah. And Tiara is like, "I'm not just a British girl. I'm a British girl with a performing arts degree." Or she like went to performing arts school. And now she's at East High. And she's like, "I'm gonna take over the drama department next year when you're gone. Haha."
She was faking the whole time. This plot was so not needed. This
It's so
character was
dumb.
not needed.
It was so dumb.
Nothing would have changed,
Yeah.
really.
Alright, so now we get Troy and Gabriella. Now they get to sing the song. You know the song the crowd just heard? Take it back, take it back. Troy and Gabriella get to sing it now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this musical's a disaster.
But he gets happy that they're back though. And Juilliard people go, "Now that is Troy Bolton."
It's your favorite part of the movie.
It's so funny. That is Troy Bolton.
It's just standard ass dude singing a song.
Wow, that straight boy can sing.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
you think Troy can get on diversity grounds?
Because he's a straight white boy that wants to do music. And all the girls are like, "Yes, finally!" And he's attractive. Oh, what the heck? Yeah. So Troy and Gabriella sing. They do the choreography right, which Brian's excited about. And then everybody comes out and joins the number, which is this part's really sweet. That they all come out and they like hug Gabriella and they give her roses. And even the Juilliard people gotta stand up and clap.
Which seems very unprofessional. This is a musical still. Y'all supposed to be sitting.
Everyone else is standing though. All that I wanna do
They're
is
saying
be
this
with
song is too
you.
infectious, which, like, no.
It's fun.
It's fine. I'm being a hater. But, like, I've already gotten through all my shit.
Yeah, we're almost done. So then Sharpay in her dressing room like looks at herself in the mirror and she says, "Sharpay Evans, I believe you're in the wrong costume." And now we're back to Night to Remember, except it's not at all like the rehearsal from earlier. Because now Sharpay's part is the "Who's that girl?" But it's Tiara being Sharpay. Um, but then Sharpay shows up in the same blue dress to show up Tiara, and they fight in the song. It's gonna be my night to remember.
And it's like, they're doing a great job faking the choreography and making it look legit. Because, again, Ryan gets a scholarship off of this.
Well, the choreography that they did earlier when they were rehearsing Night to Remember was fantastic.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Unfortunately, he didn't get to demonstrate it. Fortunately for him, it didn't cost him.
If like they actually did that whole thing, Night to Remember that we saw earlier, tonight during the actual show, as an audience member, I would have been like, "Oh, this is so fun. They made this themselves. That's so
Yeah.
cute." But they don't do that.
Yep.
What the heck?
And then that's
Yeah.
basically senior year.
So yeah. So then backstage, the Juilliard people give Darbus their decision.
Notably, this is still the show is going on.
Yeah, the
The
show
show
is not over.
over, and Juilliard had to make their choice before the end so that it could be part of the show.
They could
What
announce
the
it.
fuck is that? This is like criminal. This is something that doesn't make sense. I've been waiting on my laurels to talk about this the whole time. You're gonna put as a part of your musical. What if they decided to give it to no one? What would they have done? They'd just all be sad on stage? What imagine Kelsey, whose like life goal is to go to Juilliard here, doesn't get it and it goes to Sharpay. Is she gonna have to hold that in and be professional on stage?
She would smile and clap.
Like, this is emotional torture and also very rude to not consider everything for a deeper length of time. You haven't got to sit with these performances.
At all. They say, actually, can you give me the decision within the hour?
What if they
was
really
happening?
love the we're all in this together reprise that's going on during this moment, and we're like, oh wait, if we knew about this, we would have picked Kelsey, but god damn. It has bugged me for so long.
That's very funny. Yeah, so part of this musical is a reprise of We're All This Together, which is really cute, actually.
No, I'm
But
fine with that, yeah.
but then like the seniors are in their robes and they all just stand on stage and say what they're gonna do next year. I guess that can be part of it. Um, all the important ones are in red, and everyone else is in white. Which I mean, later they're in red and white, so
Yeah.
I guess it's actually a thing that some of the seniors have red and some have white.
But all the important characters are in red.
Yes. So Darbus is like, "Welcome our seniors, Kelsey Nielsen," and so she announces the seniors and she says like what they're gonna do next year, basically what college they're going to, because none of
Yeah.
them are. Oh, I
Except
guess maybe
Jason.
Jason's not going to college. He's probably gonna go to U of A. But she says Kelsey Nielsen, the Juilliard School Scholarship recipient, and Kelsey's like, "Oh my god, I
Oh
got
my
it!
god, yay!
Yay!"
And we don't see Ryan, but he's probably sad right
He's
now.
probably sad, and Sharpay,
Yeah.
and Troy. Um, Jason Cross, you did it. You graduated.
He's wearing a baseball hat instead of a graduation
It's
cap
incredible.
with the tassel still on it.
Hell yeah. Taylor McKessie, Yale University with honors,
I like
political science.
you couldn't have just gotten to Yale. You had to still have honors.
Like she graduated high school with honors. Is she in like a
I
Yale?
thought they were saying Yale with honors.
Well, is she in the honors program? Is that what they're trying to say?
That's what I thought they were trying to say.
Oh, maybe. Well, she's going to study political science.
She wants to be the president.
Oh my gosh. Ms. Darbus says, I'm pleased to announce that due to the excellence displayed here this evening.
Yeah, the amazing show that definitely had no problems go on whatsoever.
Yeah, the Juilliard School has made an extraordinary decision. Another senior is being offered the Juilliard scholarship, and it like shows Troy, like, oh my god, is it gonna be Troy? And then it shows Sharpay, oh my god, is it gonna be Sharpay? No, congratulations, Ryan Evans, choreography. They did the same switch they did in High School Musical 2, where they're like, oh my god, who would have thought Ryan gets it? They gave no time for it to be surprised that Kelsey got it. Wow, I can't believe Ryan got it. The fucking rich boy who could have afforded it in the first place.
Yeah.
Whatever. And she says, congratulations, Miss Sharpay Evans, University of Albuquerque, Performing Arts. Apparently, Sharpay backstage.
She's staying home.
Apparently, Sharpay backstage was like, hey, Miss Darbus, I'm going to go to U of A next year. I don't care about going to Juilliard anymore. Even if they say they accept me. I'm going to go to University of Albuquerque, and I'm going to come back next year and help you with the drama department.
Fuck Tiara.
He's one of those theater kids in high school that comes back.
We're supposed to take this as like a win, which I guess in a part of it, she's like lowering her basis. She's lowering her ego to like accept her spot, but like, no, fuck it. Sharpay's cool. Give her New York.
Was it just to spite Tiara?
I think this is where Sharpay Fabulous Adventure is actually a more reasonable like future.
Do you think they knew that they were going to do a spin-off?
No. I think they thought they were going to do a new film.
Yeah.
And then figured out to themselves, like, I think High School Musical 4 doesn't actually work, but we still have Ashley Tisdale.
Yeah.
She will still do stuff for us.
Yeah.
So let's do a Sharpay conclusion.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'd be cool maybe if they're like, oh, Sharpay is going to go for like being a performing arts teacher or something.
Yeah.
I'd say that though. Whatever. And now a senior who I believe has a decision to make. Mr. Troy
So
Bolton.
they ask him this in the middle of of the show.
They haven't gone over Chad yet or Gabriella, but she's like, hey Troy, right in the middle, how about you take your own announcement? I didn't hear what you wanted backstage. Sharpay told me what she was gonna do, but you didn't tell me what you were gonna do. Troy's like, I got this. Troy steps up and he says, I've chosen basketball.
Not a school, notably. He's chosen basketball.
But I've also chosen theater.
God damn it.
What? University of California, Berkeley has offered me both. But most of all, okay, we're going to gloss over that real quick. Most of all, I choose a person who inspires my heart, which is why I picked a school that exactly 32.7 miles away from you, Gabriella. And we looked it up. The real distance is 41 miles, which is a full
I think
hour
it's like
drive.
I think it's as the crows fly because it crosses over like the San Francisco Bay.
Yeah. So
But yeah, the
driving, it's a
driving.
full hour, which could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So
So he's gonna go to Berkeley, where he's doing basketball and theater. Is he a theater major who also plays basketball?
presumably that would make the most sense. Which maybe, but we both agree he's not going to last.
Oh my god. I know deep in my bones that Troy Bolton quits theater within a month.
Yeah.
And breaks up with Gabriella within a year.
Gabriella breaks up with him.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's an athlete.
I think he's okay with it. They're like, I just think he's the one who's going to keep calling her for a while, and then she's like, "Let's just stop."
He's such a simp. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah. So first off, we can gloss over the fact that he's choosing theater and everything. California Berkeley is still a good school. In fact, it's a great academic school. Fantastic, like one of the best in the country.
Yeah.
So good for him to be able to get in. Maybe should have considered that anyways, because we're not under the impression that University of Albuquerque is an excellent academic school.
Hmm.
We think it's good. It's like a Power 5, like major conference school, but like on the lower end of that is where all of the movies lead me to believe that's where it is. So he's probably going to a comparable basketball program because Berkeley at the time was a Pac-12 program, Pac-10 at the time. Oh, that was just like it's a major conference, but it's like a shitty team in the major conference. So it's fine. He gets to like play actual basketball. Pros come out of there. Well, for him, good for him. He won't be a pro. Troy Bolton does not have the height or technique to be a pro, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably can have a good college basketball career. I could believe that. But like, if he's choosing a basketball, and that's fine. Like, this is where it's like goes back to. I feel like his dad and everything. You could make the choice for all of this if that's a school that ends up being better for you, and you're going to a better academic school. Your dad's not going to be mad about this, and it seems like he's gotten a scholarship for this as well. So
yeah,
all good. Where's the problem with all of that? He's not going to keep doing theater, and it's just like, yeah, you didn't go to University of Albuquerque. You're allowed to go to a school that isn't the one you cheered for growing up. I went to the rival. I was a Badger fan growing up.
And you went to UPenn.
Yep.
Yeah, I just refuse to believe he's actually good at theater. He can sing.
Even though Juilliard thinks he is, maybe we just have to trust what they're saying, not what they're showing.
If he can't nail choreography with Sharpay,
who's very talented at choreography,
who is very into theater,
yeah,
who does he think he's going to be doing theater with at Berkeley? Not Gabriella. Not fucking Gabriella. That's the only time he enjoys himself on stage. And they're trying to convince us, gaslight us, that Troy Bolton should be doing theater in college.
And I get like that's he wants to explore the interest, but at the same time, no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. He wants me.
He wants to know it. Yeah, he also wants to figure himself out. But like, I think you've already explored theater enough, dude.
Yeah, no,
Use the basketball as a funding to figure out your actual major.
I wish they would have dropped that and made his motivations purely being with Gabriella, because that's clearly what he's really doing it for.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So then after he makes his announcement, he says, "Miss Gabriela Montez, Stanford University, free law." Why the fuck is she studying law?
I feel like hard science makes way more sense. Being a doctor, way more sense. I've never gotten lawyer vibe.
No, she's never given lawyer vibes. Taylor gives lawyer vibes. Taylor could be a lawyer. She wants to be a politician.
Yeah.
So like that
A
makes
lot
sense.
of politicians, but
Right.
they say poli sci because then it's very clear to the kids at home. Political.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Gabriella never gives lawyer.
That's the most incorrect decision I think they made here is pre-law for
You can study
Gabriella.
medical at Stanford, can't you?
I'm pretty sure
I'm
you
pretty
could.
sure you can.
It's Stanford.
It's Stanford. And then next, Mr. Chad Danforth, University of Albuquerque basketball scholarship.
But wait, Chad's not on the stage. There's just an empty spot in there. Maybe you shouldn't have gotten that choreography scholarship.
The fucking chaos of Miss Darbus letting Troy give a huge announcement before she even announces Chad. Like, it should have been Chad and then Troy.
Yeah.
Troy should have been last.
But they have Chad be last, or not even
That's-
last. All the other people that we don't hear, the extras. We don't know where Martha went.
Martha! Community college. But oh my god, Chad's gone. He's in the gym because he's sad that Troy isn't gonna do basketball with him. But guess what? We only have 2 minutes tops to wrap up this plot line, so they're just gonna kind of talk a little bit and they'll be okay. So Troy finds Chad in the gym and he's shooting hoops and he tries to cheer him up. But Chad's like, one question. Does Berkeley play? And he says, oh yeah. We'll kick some red hot butt next semester. So they're good.
Yeah,
And he says, yeah, they play ball. Wait. No. Sorry. No. Okay.
you're gonna probably cut that out, but it was pretty funny. Yeah, they play ball.
I wrote they play ball as in like Troy and Chad play ball, and I thought that they play ball. It's a line of dialogue that I wrote down. It's they're good. Yeah, they play ball.
Coach Bolton shows up and he sees his favorite kids playing basketball. And he's like, "Yo, go on the theater.
Go on
Go on
stage.
stage."
And he's like, I never thought I'd hear my dad say.
Oh yeah, full circle.
And then Troy and his dad hug.
Aww.
Yeah. We're all in this together. It's slowed down, you guys. We're in real graduation now. Da-da-da. And we see that. And the seniors are in red and white gowns, and they're sitting in like perfect rectangles that make an E and an 8. It's pretty fun.
Mhm.
And then Troy gives a speech. I don't know why Troy is giving a speech. I guess it's just because everybody worships him at this
I was gonna say
point.
he's not a valedictorian. There's no way.
No.
But I could believe that like he's just like student body's like, "Hey, you want to give a speech?" And he said, "Sure."
Here's the thing, at my school, you had to like apply to do a speech. We didn't have like a valedictorian
Yeah.
thing. It was like 2 students spoke, I'm pretty sure, and they like wanted to. And they were good. So I'm like, good for you guys. Troy's like, you gotta break the status quo. Jock can make a creme brulee. The Brainiac can break it down on the dance floor. No mention of a stoner playing the cello, by the way. Fuck that guy.
That kid missed out on, I'm gonna say millions, but it's definitely thousands.
And he says, a place where one person, if it's the right person, changes us all. God, he's such a simp for Gabriella. And he says, we have friends we'll keep for the rest of our lives. And it shows Chad and Taylor sitting next to each other, like, sure, those two are gonna stay together for the rest of their lives. Yeah, we already know that they're not. And then Troy says, and I guess that means we really are all in this together. Because once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat.
What team?
Wildcat.
What team?
Wildcat.
What team?
Wildcats.
Get your head in the game.
No, you,
And then they start
no,
singing, "Get your head in the game. Gotta get your head in the game."
no, they don't. But they do rearrange themselves to make a Wildcat logo. And they
What
throw
logo?
Wildcats. And they throw their caps up in the air. And this final song starts.
So cringe to name your final song the name of the franchise.
What are they gonna do? They go High School Musical.
But it was made from the ground up to be like a song called High School Musical.
Yeah.
I wish that my life was like my High School Musical.
High School Musical. Who says we have to let it go? It's the best part we've ever known. Step into the music. Hold on to. They never gonna let high school go. Okay, one thing that's really fun about this number, other than like they're all in their caps and gowns, and that's really cute. This is filmed and framed very much like We're All in This Together from the first film. Love that. So it starts with Troy kind of going through a crowd, and then Gabriella goes through a little crowd. They do a chorus, and then we have Ryan up on like kind of a like stage stand, like how he was in the bleachers in the original number, and then Sharpay comes in, and Sharpay does a little jazz square for Ryan because remember that was his thing, is he likes jazz squares.
Mhm.
Um, and then we're all in this together. Chad and Taylor had like a dance break moment. In this song, they actually get to sing the bridge. This is the one time Taylor gets to sing.
Yep.
And it's really fun. Like they kill it. They get to
It's
sing
just
the
a
whole
bunch.
bridge.
Yeah. This whole thing is a big reference to We're All in This Together, but also little references to
Other
like the
things, yeah.
whole thing, which is why it's cute and good. I still think it's kind of cringe to end your High School Musical franchise on a High School
I
Musical.
don't know how else they could have ended it. Like, if it was a generic pop song, you would have been pissed that it was a generic pop song.
I am pissed. This is still kind of a generic song.
No, it's not. It's about High School Musical. And they do the roller coaster wave thing, from the second movie. And at one point it's like boom, boom, clap, High School Musical. And one time, this is a silly little story. There was this room in our library that was like specifically for seniors, like doing like college and school classes, whatever. Um, just like one little room off the library. And we were like listening to music and just goofing around, me and my friends, and this song came on and we were doing High School Musical. We're making a big ruckus, doing the boom, boom, clap, right? High School Musical. And I was like, dang, if anyone's like hearing this outside, they're gonna think we're doing We Will Rock. But actually we're doing High School Musical.
Joke's on them.
Jokes on them. Yeah, so they break it down. And then the main six break away.
They run to like the front of the camera
Mhm.
and a curtain drops out from the sky. They're outdoors, but
Yeah, but then a big curtain comes, so it's like, "Whoa, this was on stage
it's
the
like the
whole time."
poster.
Yeah, and they in High School Musicals and big lights behind them, and then they jump, freeze frame, like the poster.
Oh my god, you get it? Do you get the reference? You
Yeah.
get it? But did
Um,
you get it though?
yeah, I get it.
Okay.
And then they come down and they get, like, close-up shots.
This is a really weird
This
part
is
of the ending.
weird.
I really like the reason as well I don't like the High School Musical as the ending. This is such a self-congratulatory
Oh my
film,
god.
and this song especially is, but especially like these cuts of these characters who are essentially like, I guess what they're trying to do is like a curtain call in a
Yes.
musical.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like, "This is the bow."
This is the actors taking the bows or anything.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you're gonna do that, just go all the way, have them bow.
They do after everyone's shown, but when they have
Have
the
them bow
individuals
individually.
yeah, individually, so they just show their face and they smile at the camera.
Yeah.
"Yay, look, oh my god, it's Zac Efron." They end with Zac, of course they do. And fuck Kelsey, I
Yeah.
guess.
Poor Kelsey, this is what I'm saying the whole time. She's bigger deal.
She should be
She should be
here.
there. You can still frame stuff with an odd number. It's fine.
Yeah, but they wanted even number like boys and girls as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so they bow, and then another curtain falls in front of them. And the
Yeah, there were
end.
multiple curtains.
Yeah, and that's the end of the movie. And the credits are like a yearbook, which is cute, and they have like photos from
It's
all
much more
3 movies.
professionally done credits than most because
Yeah.
don't forget this is a theater movie.
Yeah, and they have like photos from all 3 movies, which is super
It is
cute.
it's really nice that it's not just photos from this movie. It's like
Yeah.
this is where it feels a better celebration of the franchise as a whole.
Yes, absolutely. And they also show some bloopers. We sat through the whole credits. It was actually pretty fun. The bloopers were fun. And then we saw the winner of the reality show singing the credit song.
Yeah.
So
And that's High School Musical 3 senior year.
that's it. That's the original trilogy. The main franchise is over.
We talked about it for a while.
Pinnacle of my childhood, this whole series. I did care for High School Musical 3, obviously more than Benji did.
It was still a part of my childhood. Like I'm not saying this wasn't a big deal for me or anything, but I just have never jived as well with this film because I mean, I've spread my complaints about it through. I don't need to continue to repeat myself.
Here's what I think fully, and this is just my running theory that I'm fully convinced happened. They said, "Write me some songs for these characters." And they wrote a bunch of songs, and they said, "Perfect. Now write a plot." And they just stitched them together because it's like you have a couple of Troy and Gabriella duets. You got the one Sharpay song about how she wants it all. You have one song about how Troy and Chad are boys. You got Gabriella leaving because she always does. Yeah, and that's like we got these songs and we got the prom song, and we'll just try and kind of stitch them together as a plot. And the plot suffers for it.
Yeah.
But I enjoy these actors and these characters singing these fun songs. I enjoy Kenny Ortega choreography. Um, now watching it again, I'm like, dang, maybe I should really rank this lower than I did. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's a fun musical. I'm a sucker for musicals. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. Uh, and where I'm at on it, it's just it has moments, but for the most part, the whole time that I'm watching, it's just like this is all bloat.
There's
It
so many musical numbers.
again, you can cut. This needs to cut half the musical numbers and replace that with more plot,
Yeah.
and there could be a better movie within here. But they weren't. They weren't willing to sacrifice the music
They did the most
when they
basic
knew it was
plot.
going to be a success.
Yeah. No.
So
But like we'll sell songs. Like that's where the money is. It's just like the most basic plot of all basic plots ever for a senior year.
yeah,
And it's just a little unfortunate. Imagine they were doing like Grease instead of their own music. Like, wouldn't that be crazy?
that would be crazy.
Like, and for senior year, we're doing Grease. And Troy is Danny Zuko. And Sharpay's like, I wanted to be Sandy, but she would definitely be Rizzo. Let's be real.
All right, I think we're getting a little off track.
Okay, sorry.
So, High School Musical 3, as a house, we ranked it 78th.
That's pretty low.
I ranked it 73rd. So, as much as I was hating on this, I was defending this more than the house as a whole.
That's insane. It's right below Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure. Spoiler alert. It's I guess as a house, we're like, we can't put it above Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure.
And I will stand by that decision. Maybe I won't when we rewatch Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, but
That's insane.
I find these comparable. But even though Sharpay's has significantly worse music, even though I don't love the music here, like the whole Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure plot is sillier and goofier and more. It's what I scratches the DCOM itch.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that another time. I'll hold my opinions. I have this movie ranked at 34, which is a lot higher because of my musical bias. And I have it in my B tier, and you have it in your C tier. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's not even a DCOM, so can we even put it on this
And we even
list?
rank it. We spent so long discussing it, but like it's not a DCOM. You know
It's
what
not.
is a DCOM though?
Hmm.
The next one that we're watching.
Whoa, segue away from High School Musical 3. That's our thoughts. If you have thoughts, email us at thedcomduo@gmail.com, YouTube comment, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for joining us on this High School Musical journey. We did all 3 High School Musicals before doing the second Camp Rock. That's just the way the wheel works. And now we're going to spin it again for our next DCOM.
I think it's gonna be Johnny Tsunami.
Whoa, I think it's going to be Go Figure.
Whoa.
Let's spin the wheel. Oh, yes. Oh my god, it's the other me.
Oh.
Oh,
Fuck.
it's so exciting. I've been waiting for this one.
This is big
Big,
moment.
big. Y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know.
We kind of have been this set of movies we've had lately has been kind of crazy. Okay. Tune in for the other me.
And 2 weeks.
Kelsey's favorite TCOM. What?
What? Oh my god. Goodbye. Say goodbye.
Bye. Scenes from our next episode.
Oh man. I suck at science. I guess I'll just do these normal sea monkeys.
Oh no, these sea monkeys turned into my clone. Wait,
Whoa!
this is great. I'll just send him to school and I'll stay at home playing video games.
Yeah, this will be awesome. Wait, the clone is more popular than me? This is boring as hell. I can't leave the house. My clone reformed my bully. He had a dance party in the lunchroom because he loves pizza.
Frozen pizza in particular.
This pizza's delicious. Makes me want to dance.
Hey, I don't know what it's like to have a father.
Me neither.
Fully reformed. You're my bully now.
Does it hurt being old?
Not today.
Well, I gotta name you something. I guess I'll name you Toy.
A fucking movie.
This
Let's
is
pull
so-
these binoculars where we each have one eye of the binocular.
Oh man, Andrew Lawrence looking right past Andrew Lawrence.
This movie is bad in the perfect
It's
way.
so
I
good.
fucking love this. I'm excited.